Hello, everybody. Oh, just getting set up. So let me push a few buttons and make sure everything's okay. Okay. Nobody in yet, so I can't ask any questions to see whether the voice is okay. But hang on, let me have a look. Go there. Go there. Okay, we got one in. Got one in. Come on, come on, come on. Good morning, Les. Good morning. Okay, I've just set it up in a bit of a rush because I was just setting up when a massive shower came in and rain was coming in at every angle, so I had to move the computer and the table and the lights, everything. So is everything working? The lights, not the lights working. Is the sound okay? Everything else like that? Just give us a yes if everything is working. Richard Mercer, good morning. Good morning. Farang Travels, good morning, Les. And chat, hello, everybody. Yes, okay. Everything good. Oh, fantastic. Usually I like to get things set up before I start, like 10 or 15 minutes. But today, wow, I'm still 2 minutes early, 2 or 3 minutes early. But I got everything set up and I thought, okay. And you can see these little brick pillars in the picture. And I like to move the camera and the table back a little bit so you miss these two out. But the rain was coming in and it was going to wet my computer, so I can't have that because I've already had an expensive week this week, which I'll come on to later on. But thanks very much. Oh, we've got 9 in already, so away we go on. 3 likes already. Thanks very much for everybody. Occasionally there might be a bit of a storm because there's quite a few clouds gathering up. Yeah, so beautiful and blue in that direction, but storm clouds are gathering over that direction. So yes, we do get rain here in Thailand, and it is the rainy season now. But hello and welcome from Retired and Living the Dream here in Thailand. And today we've had a bit of rain, so it's actually brought the temperatures down a little bit, which is fandabidosi, which is good. Right. Julian Highlands, how are you going? Julian Vince, I'm going okay. Soy dog highlights from Udentani, very hot. Thankfully, as I said, the rainy season. Who would think a guy from the UK would say, "Oh, thank goodness it's going to start raining because it'll cool everything down." Well, it does, but we don't get 9 months of the year of rain, so we might only get it for 3 months, and that just brings the hot season to a close, and it makes everybody much happier and friendlier, and yeah, everything's good. So my train of thought has gone a little bit today. So I'm talking to anybody and everybody. If anybody has got any questions, I've got a few things that I'm going to mention about what I'm going to be doing, and if you want to follow me. If you don't, well, it might interest some people, but it won't interest everybody. But you know me, I'm a sort of a DIY fanatic, and I love my playing around with electrics and things like that. And it's been 2 weeks since the last live stream, and I haven't had time to sit down. It's been so busy. So for these people who say they get bored living in Thailand, well, you've got to have a hobby. You've got to do something. And we're going to come on to a few things, medical-wise and money-wise. So the chat's here about everything, really. And if you've got a question, put a Q at the beginning of your on the feed, and that denotes it's a question. And if I can, I'll answer the question. But I apologize if I do miss any questions, because whilst giving an answer to one of the questions, the comment goes up and up and up, and I might miss it. So I do apologize if I miss it. It's not that I'm ignoring you. Just put the question in again and we'll get around to it. And guaranteed everybody that asks a question on it, I'll be able to answer it one way or another. And if I can't answer it, I'll pass you on to somebody that can, or point you in the right direction that somebody can. Hi, Les from Oz, from Australia. Hello. So this channel reaches far and wide. You know, obviously the time difference between here and England, 9 o'clock Sunday morning, people are just getting up, having a weekend off. So it suits some people. In America, it's different hours. And again, Australia. I did one live stream once where I did 2 live streams in one day, one for the Americans in the morning and one for the Brits. Wow, that just sucks up a whole day, it really does. And, you know, there's a lot of people, almost 2,000 people watched the last live stream. So even watching the rerun is good. So what have I been up to for since the last stream 2 weeks ago? Well, I've been helping other subscribers. A friend of mine, well, he's become a friend of mine since the YouTube, and he came to my house, him and his wife, and we spent many a happy hour on the sofa talking about different pieces and different things. And because he's a guy from London area anyway, and he's pulled a trigger and he's actually moved over here now to Thailand, and he's moved up to a place near me, about 3 hours drive away from me. And I went up to his house. I was invited to his house, and we checked his electrics, and we put a couple of solar panels up because he lived down a bit of a track to a house. I'm going to do a video on it anyway about how you can get your foot on the ladder here in Thailand, here in Thailand, and it doesn't cost an awful lot of money. And as I say, he's got a nice little house, nice bit of land, and he's starting to grow some durian trees. And he explained to me what he's going to do with the roof extension, and the house is extendable. So he's got many, many options. But to get his foot on the ladder, to start off with over here, it doesn't take an awful lot. And we'll go through that on one of the videos. But that was an interesting 2 or 3 days. And they introduced me to the air fryer, which comes on to my next subject. I'm on the keto diet. I'm on the keto diet now because I got to the trigger point for me where I just need to do something. I've been eating too much, going out for meals and things like that since Christmas, and it's come to a stage now where I need to do something about it. So I'm now back on the keto diet. I've been on the keto diet for 2 weeks now, and I've lost 6.5 kilos in 2 weeks, which isn't bad going. But he introduced me to the air fryer, and wow, I've done a keto book. Hang on, something's just popped up. I've done a keto book on the keto air fryer cookbook, and on my Buy Me a Coffee site, and in the links below this, I'm going to put several video or several ebook links, and like the keto diet. These are all of the things that I actually use. The 5-ingredient keto book, and Ketogenic Lifestyle, not a diet. Now these are the books that I've actually got permission to sell, because I bought them on a system called private license rights, and so anything that I produce is legal and above board, and otherwise I wouldn't be able to sell it on my channel and things like that. You know me, I do everything legal and above board. There might be a few things that has that gone. Oh, what's happened to the colour there? Yeah, the colour's gone a little bit bleachy, hasn't it? Oh, well, I don't know what's happened to that. But that's a horrible background, isn't it? I don't know where it looks horrible on the screen. Is it horrible on the site? Let me have a look. See what you can see. I'll have a look on my little iPad. Live. Why isn't that coming up? I don't know. That looks very, very bleached out, doesn't it? It's a horrible picture, that. See if I can do something about it. I don't know. Is that any better or is it any worse? It just like flashed a little bit, and then the background went audible. So I don't know what happened to that, and I can't get the. Yeah, that looks all washed out at the back, but never mind. Okay, carry on regardless. Let's just carry on. Hopefully the picture might come back to center. I don't know what, I don't know what's happened to it. First time it's actually gone bleached background like that, which is very sad because it's a lovely picturesque behind us. Seems as if like the white balance has gone, doesn't it? Or something like that. Anybody in the technical terms? Let's have a look. See what I can do here. Let me just press this little button for a second. White balance. Yeah, maybe it's a little bit better. Hang on, just one more little. This is all new to me, setting my camera up and things like that, because I've got a program on there that operates my iPhone as a webcam. No, I'm just mucking about. No, it is what it is. I think we're going to have to put up with that. Never mind. So it's a little bit better in the background, but not perfect. This is what it is. When I try to set everything up beforehand, I usually do 10 to 15 minutes, but because of that storm came, I'm blaming that anyway. A bad workman always blames his tools, doesn't he? So, right. Okay. So, yeah, back on my keto diet. Now, my keto diet, my heaviest that I ever got, I was 118 kilo, and I dropped down to 97 kilos in total. And I usually use 105 kilo as a trigger point, but I got to 108, and that was a definite trigger point that I needed to do something about it. Now, many people will say, I know, do exercise, do this, watch what you eat. I like my food. Plain and simple, I like my food. I like to eat what I want, when I want, and as much as I want. I don't eat an awful lot. I don't drink a lot of alcohol every day. I might have 1 or 2 beers a week. But it all comes to a trigger point, and what happened was when I got to 108 kilos, that was my 3 kilos over my trigger point. So I had to do something about it. And for those guys who live in Thailand who were a little bit overweight and want to eat foreigner food, go on the keto diet. Wow, the food choices that you get is tremendous. It's lovely. At the minute, I've this week I've done lemon chicken. I've done a Thai green curry, funny enough, in my slow cooker, which is good because then that's just 4 servings. So then you do 2 or 3 other little meals, and you've got almost a fortnight's worth of keto meals, and it's all foreigner food, Western food that you like, that you can do. In the air fryer, oh, I can't wait to do that. We did some pork steaks yesterday. Absolutely just beautiful. And the air fryer, they're only 1,000 baht, so that's the cheap one. It's not expensive, but wow, the stuff that it can produce is brilliant. So So yeah, my keto diet again. I'm back down to 102 from 108. Couple of weeks or so ago. So it's my birthday in July. So hopefully I'll be on the keto from now until July, and hopefully I'll get down to the 95 kilos, which is going to be good when I'm on my birthday, because then I can eat and drink and whatever I want when I want on my birthday, which is always good. So what else have I been up to? My expensive day was yesterday. I've got a drone, a DJI Mini 2 drone, and I've always took pride on flying it within sight and taking good care of it and not doing anything silly or stupid with it. It's got a 10-kilometer range, but I never ever let it go more than like 500 or 600 yards out of sight, because I want to see what it's doing, where it's going. It's a little dot in the air when all's said and done, and you can easily lose it. Well, yesterday I was doing a video about a business opportunity that somebody could have. It's arrived land. There's already a house with a swimming pool that's already been rented, and there's enough space to build another one, and that's about 8.9 million baht. And I was doing a drone footage of it, and I was stood on the main road. There was a lorry coming, and I put the drone up so it was going to be above the lorry, and sadly I had me thumb just to say touching the forward momentum of the drone, and if it was an inch higher or 3 inches lower, it would have missed the electricity cable that it went into. So the drone crashed, broke the gimbal, and the two of the propeller arms a little bit stiff. So that's going on its way to DJI to go and get fixed. Hopefully it won't cost a lot to get fixed, but boy, I've had it for 3 years, and was I angry with myself? Stupidity, because when I looked, I thought it was high enough to get over the earth cable that goes along the pylons. And but no, when I looked at the video footage, it was right at camera angle. So another couple of inches higher, it would have passed it. But I was trying to do some video, make sure I didn't get run over by the truck, because I was on a busy road. Never mind. So I think that'll be about 2,000 or 3,000 baht to get fixed. Hopefully so, anyway. And because it was a 19,000 baht drone, so like 400 quid. So it's the first time I've crashed it in 3 years, and I'm angry with myself. So that was my expensive day yesterday, and I'm still kicking myself today, calling myself stupid, and which I am. So what else have I been up to? Okay, rainy season's here. We've had a couple of big thunderstorms. The other night, the thunderstorm went on for 3 hours, and the electricity went off, as it does in a thunderstorm in many places. I'm sure many people have experienced that as well. During a big thunderstorm, the electrics go off. I was outside in the veranda watching it because I love to see thunderstorms. And my wife was in the bedroom when the electricity went off. Our house in the village was the only house that's lit all the way around because of the solar. The electricity went off, so we always had the fans on in the bedroom. And bearing in mind, this is sort of the hottest part of the year, and we sleep with 2 fans on in the bedroom. So I just switched the emergency backup system on. So if anybody wants to look at my solar powered emergency backup system, that cost about 10,000 baht to build. Noisy little motorbike. I put that on, and it was fantastic. So my wife had the fans on in the bedroom for 2 hours before the electricity came back on. So I built it, and it does what it says on the can. And we had lights around the house, and we also had electricity, so we could have the fans in the bedroom. So it works. And because of that, I just want to improve the solar system. So what I've done, again, I'm going to do it step by step. So it's absolutely dead easy to follow. And I'm going to put a hybrid solar power system in. I bought two panels, both 450 watt each, and I'm just going to build it up slowly. So it's a hybrid inverter, and it's 4.5 kilowatt. I'm going to buy a couple of lithium batteries. So altogether, I'm going to spend around about £1,000, I think, when all said and done, for this solar system. Is it going to give me all the electricity in the house? No, it isn't. But I'm not designing it to do all the electricity in the house. Because let's face it, the two biggest parts of the electricity is the shower, when you need to use the shower in the winter time, and that's 3.5 kilowatts, and 1.5 kilowatt for the air conditioning that we use very, very little of anyway. And then there's a microwave, which is about 800 to 1,000 watts when I'm using that. So what tot all the little things up, the TV, the computer, the fans, the lights, all of them little things all add up during the day. So my ambition or my plan is just to have enough solar and electricity just to run the fridge, the fans, the TV, the computer all day, either off the solar panels and having 900 watts. That should be easily done within the day, and that'll help charge the batteries up as well. And by having 200 amp hour batteries, that will give me the nighttime usage of the TV and the computer and things like that. That's what my plan is. That's what I'm working on, and so I'll be doing a step-by-step video on that. Now, some people, I used to be an electrician as well in the UK, so I know a little bit about electricity, and I'll just give you one example how people can treat electricity with contempt. A 12-volt battery, wow, it doesn't look very big, does it? A 12-volt battery runs your car. And so what damage can a 12-volt battery do? Well, if you put two together and you've got a 24-volt, and this inverter that I've got is a 4.5 kilowatts, so potentially 4,500 kilowatts. 4,500, not kilowatts, 4,500 watts can be taken out of the battery. Now, that's some energy to be taken out of a 24-volt system. So I've got a friend who just told me, oh, listen, I've got a 6,000 watt inverter, just a cheap inverter that you get off Lazada, 6,000 watts. I said, do you know what size cable? Oh, I've just connected to the battery. Is he ever going to use motorbikes, noisy young lads on the motorbike? Is he ever going to use 6,000 watts on that inverter? No, he isn't. But the potential is there. And I'll just give you an example as to these two 12-volt batteries. You need a cable as thick as my finger to be able to go from the batteries to the inverter. And this is the beastie that is going to turn it on and off. This is a 200 amp breaker. Now, just look at how big that is. You know, it's massive. It's a massive, to turn it off, it's very, very stiff. Now, that's the breaker that you need between your battery and the inverter. So when somebody just gets a plug and plugs it in and thinks that's going to be it. So please don't treat electricity or solar power and batteries with the contempt that some people do. It's dangerous stuff. That's why you've got to get the cable to it. So expensive, 35mm cable. And I'm going to connect the two batteries, and that's 50mm. That's the size of my thumb. That wide, and 35mm is about like the size of that finger. So when I put it all together, you know, everybody just thinks, oh, it's solar. And all the TV programs that you see, I hate to see cables running everywhere, because I used to be an electrician in England, and I prided myself with cable runs being neat and tidy. And you get some of these solar guys that are on there, and it's on the bench, and they have this clipped in, that clipped in, their wires are all over the place. It looks horrible. This will be a neatly run system, and I was going to put it outside of the house, but to put it outside of the house because I've got my old system or my other backup system outside of the house. Everything's contained in the box, and I'd love it to be in the box. But because of the distances that it needs to be around the inverter, it's impossible. I'd have to buy a steel cabinet, then I'd have to extend the roof so no rain got onto it. So I've decided to put it inside the house now, the inverter and the batteries. Now the inverter was 10,500 baht. That's a power mister, and I'm going to get two life poor batteries. They're about 7,000 baht a piece, and the solar panels, they were about 3,000 baht a piece for 450 watts. Now I need to get the cables and all the bits and pieces. So I'm saying about 50,000 baht, will definitely not be more than 50,000 baht. Hi Les, I need to put my glasses on. Hi Les, thanks for the visa agent contact. All sorted very efficiently and will be complete with everything. Just to get my driver's license. Fantastic. Glad I got help. Peter Westwood, we have a solar 15 kilowatt but no batteries. During a power cut, we have a 3,000 baht generator from Global House. 3,000 baht. 3,000 baht, yeah, generator from Global House. Runs fans, TVs, fridges. Fantastic. Enough already on the electricity. Where's all the drunken women at? I don't know, but you're more than welcome to go and find them somewhere. If you want drunken ladies, you come to the wrong channel. Okay. Hello, everyone. Peter Farang. Good morning, Les, and lovely English weather day. Yeah, I mean, the rain stopped now. Tony Montana. Hi, Les. Hope all is well. Yeah, a bit early. Yeah, I set everything up. There's something wrong with it, with the lighting for the background, because I set everything up and then a massive thunderstorm came and all the rain started coming in around my lighting and my computer. So I just had to move everything back. So apologies for it's not the best picture behind me, but never mind. So yeah, so that's my work on the electricity, and my little portable or my little backup system work fantastically. And I suggest anybody, if they want a picture of it or any idea, just send an email and I'll give you all the details. But when you're hot and sticky, you'd gladly pay the 10,000 baht just to be able to put the fans on for 2 or 3 hours. And again, the system's there. It runs all the lights on the outside of the house. Superb, little cheap, not expensive to do, and it works a treat. Hi, Les. Good afternoon. Hope you're all well. I'm okay. Thank you very much. Seen some good reviews on the Mr. Power inverters. Yeah, again, it's looking on the YouTube for the videos. There's actually not many people. Well, there's a couple of Americans that have done Power Mister. It's called. I thought it was Power Mister, but it's Power Mister. A couple of people, but that's 120 volts as opposed to 220, 230 volts over here. So it's sort of a bit of a different kettle of fish. Also, there's a couple of ways to the hybrid inverter is supposed to connect to your electricity, and it's supposed to backfeed your meter. Well, in Thailand, you can't that's called a grid tie inverter. Now, you're not allowed to pump electricity back onto the system here in Thailand unless you've got an approved grid tie inverter, which Power Mister isn't an approved grid tie inverter. Now, I've got a grid tie inverter already on my system. It's only very, very small, and that's operated by an 80 watt panel, only an 80 watt panel. But our electricity is so, we don't use much electricity at all. I've actually seen our meter getting turned back at midday with an 80 watt panel because the fridge isn't running because it's in between cycles and we're not running any fans, and the meter does go back. So if we had two panels that were pumping in almost 1,000 watts, the meter's going to go backwards for sure. And if the guy who comes and reads the meter sees that, then he'll inform the electricity board, who will then put another meter on it, stop it from going backwards. And we may be in some trouble for having a grid tie inverter linked to the system without their permission. I don't know. But it is Thailand, but I like to do everything correctly. So what I've done, I've put some extra sockets around the house anyway on my emergency backup. So I have the TV, the computer, and the fans in the bedroom. So all I'm going to do is connect that to the new inverter and run the electricity for the TVs and the computers and things like that off just that system. So it will never, ever be linked to the grid. That's my way to do it, but all will be explained in the videos anyway. I mean, I'm not really doing it to save money, because at the end of the day, it's costing me money to do this system. And our electricity bill is only, less than 800 baht a month. So for that type of price, £1,000. So the payback time is going to be a lot of years. But I like playing around, and it's my little bit of my hobby. My hobby is electrics, and I like electrics. And when I've been altering my cupboard, I've got the L-shaped brackets in there with a little. It's just like playing with a big Meccano set, and that's where I enjoy doing it. I enjoy tinkering about and doing something. That's why my days are full, and I'm never ever bored. I've always got something else to do. You might hear some music in the background now. This usually comes on when the village head has to say something to the village. He'll put a bit of music on for about 10 minutes to attract everyone's attention. Then he'll start speaking. What's going on in the village, I don't know, but something's going on. Afternoon, mate. Polas, afternoon. I'm still coming over now, looking at Hua Hin as well as Rayong, but it seems the rental prices are going up. Rental prices, swings and roundabouts, I think, at the end of the day, because it's rainy season now, so you've got a little bit more choice. Hang on, I'll just turn these lights on a second. You've got a little bit more choice. Yeah, you've got a little bit more choice with rentals. I know a couple of houses have just come on the market, back on the market where we are. Some guy contacted me the other day and wanted to know whether they could go and have a view. So I arranged for some viewing times for him, and he never turned up. Hey, well, that's the way it goes, isn't it? And but yeah, the rental market again swings and roundabouts. In Phuket, Hua Hin, especially because that's a big tourist location as well, it's going to be more expensive than Rayong. Again, Rayong isn't on the tourist map, so therefore people think it's not worth having a visit. But the people that have visited Rayong have been impressed with it and liked it. And there's a few people who have lived and settled here. But it's not everybody's cup of tea, that's for sure. It's really quiet here in Chiang Mai, so with no guests, just the wife, I've been checking my meter each day to see what average kilowatt we use. Really want solar hybrid, but we are three-phase. Yeah, three-phase, I've never really liked three-phase. To be fair, I didn't used to do much three-phase in England. It's just, if you get it wrong, and with three-phase, nationals in to do a three-phase supply for your solar, talking of big amperages. Single phase, it's much easier, but with three-phase, there's a lot to take note of. So sadly, I would suggest a three-phase supply system for a solar power. definitely need somebody who knows what they're doing for that. I mean, a couple of people have asked me to go and do their solar, and I'm just playing at it myself. I'm not a solar expert at all, but I like playing around with it, and I like to see how things work, and I research and review and do everything. So when I fit the system, it'll be absolutely 100% as it should be. But I'm not allowed to work here in Thailand anyway, so I can give people advice on various things, and I have done for electrics. Several people I've given advice on for electrics, and I've given my penny's worth, if you like. And whether they take the advice or not, it's up to them. But sadly, the electrics in Thailand isn't what it should be like. It should be more safe. It's actually quite dangerous in Thailand. So the electrics, yeah, be careful with the electrics. Here in South Australia, we have to pump it into the grid, selling them for 10 cents per kilowatt. They sell back to us 40 cents. 9.7 kilowatt, you can still get an electricity bill. Yeah, I know somebody else whose electricity bill was 12,000 baht a month, and they had a big solar power system put on, and they're still getting a bill for 3,000 baht. I mean, I'm over the moon with ours. I mean, our electricity bill is always in the 8 years we've lived here, it's been less than 1,000 baht a month, which is brilliant. I think that's why solar hasn't taken off in Thailand. Electric is too cheap. Exactly. I would agree with that 100% to make it worthwhile. The government keeps talking about going green. Maybe they should subsidise with the interest-free payments. Now, they did used to give you money for putting solar back into the grid, but by all accounts, that's stopped now. So they don't do that anymore, which is sad, isn't it? You know, because trying to encourage people to go green, but the electricity at 4 baht per kilowatt, you know, again, people will say to me, it doesn't make sense for me to do my solar because my electricity bill is 800 baht a month, or less than 800 baht a month. And I agree. I'm doing it because it's my hobby, and that's what I want to do. 12,000 baht luxury, we are around 2,000 baht when busy. Soon buying a house in England that has solar panels and batteries fitted, also has thermal to heat water. Be interesting to see what his bills are. Yeah, again, we're lucky here in Thailand, where my solar panels are at the minute. 8 o'clock in the morning, on an 80 watt panel, I'm getting 40 watts, and at midday, it's getting, you know, to 80, 82 watts maximum it goes up to. And even at 4 o'clock, we're back down to 20 to 30 watts. So the location for the panels is absolutely spot on. And I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to doing the video, and hopefully some people will follow us along, and some people will maybe bite the bullet and do it themselves. I'm doing it because, as I say, it's a hobby. But I've also got to say that there's other things you can do which is much cheaper. I've done several videos with regard to cooling my house down, and ventilation is the key. Absolutely, ventilation is the key. And I put that door on my back door that's got net screen on it, so that allows the drafts to come into the house. And I did the other video with a magnetic door screen, mosquito screen. So now in the house, we've got the front door open and the back door open. And the creepy crawlies can't get in and the snakes can't get in. But wow, does that cool the house down? Now, when I say cool the house down, it takes away all of that hot air that builds up at ceiling level because there's a draft through the house. That works tremendously. And do we have the air conditioning on in the night time? Yes, we do, especially during the hot season, for an hour. Never, ever been longer than an hour and a half, ever. So by getting rid of all of that hot air in the first place, it actually makes your converter on your air conditioning unit run even less, because it doesn't have to cool all of that hot air that was in the roof. So yeah, ventilation is the key. Open your windows, open your doors, get a ventilation through the house, and that gets rid of all of them hot air. Now, the ambient temperature inside the house will always be the same as the ambient temperature outside. There's nothing you can do about that. If you keep all the windows and doors shut, eventually all that heat builds up from the roof anyway. So hot is hot, but you've got to try every little way to get rid of that heat from the house. Insulation. Shadow of the roof over extending the side of the house. I've done a couple of videos on that, and I've got to say it works. It's a little bit, but it's like everything else. A little bit helps, and everything helps, and everything works eventually. All right, solar panel use for Bitcoin. No idea about Bitcoin. Never will buy Bitcoin, stuff like that. I spend all my money every month. I don't want to buy Bitcoin. It's way past my understanding. I have no idea how it works. No intentions of doing it. So anyway, any questions from the house? We've got 66 people in with 24 thumbs up. Any more chance of thumbs up? Because the thumbs up shows the YouTube algorithm that everybody likes it and everybody enjoys it, and it helps promote the channel also. So 66 people. Anybody got any questions? Any weed questions that people want to know? Because I've got a couple of questions that other people have asked me before, but this is your chance to ask any questions. Please feel free to ask anything you want, because I'll give you the truthful answers, and I'll be able to give you no BS answers as well. And okay, then let's go. Medical insurance here in Thailand. Now, if anybody follows my channel, I'm sure they've been in or watched another channel, and he's a guy called Steady Eddie. Now, Steady Eddie, he's not my cup of tea, but he's 50,000 subscribers, people's cup of tea. And sadly, Steady Eddie has had a stroke. Now, again, I wish him the best of luck and health and speedy recovery and things like that. But he did a video that he went to the hospital, and they said to him that he'd had a stroke, or they thought that he had a stroke, and he needed to have a scan done, which was going to cost him 10,000 baht. And he elected not to have the scan done, even though he said he had insurance. So for my feeling for anybody, even if you travel here or you live here without insurance, if you've had a stroke or something like that, there isn't an amount of money that I wouldn't pay to get what the answer was, and to get what type of stroke it is, where it was. If it was a stroke, it might have been something else, which he thinks might be something else. He thinks it may be cancer. But he had to go back. His subscribers persuaded him to go back for another scan. Now, this is what I'm saying. These are the type of things that I'm not knocking Eddie. I'm not knocking him at all. All I'm saying is that he's brought to light problems that other people may suffer in the future. If you come to Thailand, you've got to have belt and braces. He's not living here full time. He's a nomadic traveler. He's been to Cambodia. He's been to Laos. He's been to Vietnam. So, but he said he had medical insurance. Perhaps this was the time to be able to claim on these medical insurance. But please, anybody have any strokes or feelings with heart attacks, go and seek medical attention. Don't put it off at all, because, the longer you leave it, the more things could go wrong with you. So make sure, for one, you've got medical insurance or travel insurance if you're coming here to Thailand. Please do not think that you can get away with it, especially if you're coming from like the cooler countries and you're coming to here. Working in this heat or walking around in this heat is a killer anyway. If it was this temperatures in England, there'd be health warnings on the TV. Stay in, keep cool, drink plenty of liquids. This is sort of everyday temperatures living here in Thailand. So you've got to get used to that temperature. And it takes a period of time. Now, when I fitted the magnetic screen door, I did a video about it. If you haven't seen it, go and have a look at it. It took me an hour and a half to do the door. And by the time I set the camera up and everything else, an hour and a half, I'm just covered in sweat. I sit there and you can just see my face all sweaty. And that wasn't physical work. It was just hard work in this heat. And the heat is debilitating, that's for sure. It really, really is. There are some cheap... what a weird question. Oh, there are farmers here using manure to make. Yeah, I've seen that. You can actually buy a big tent and you can put all your mess in that in there, and it produces a gas, and the gas does the heating and things like that. So yeah, there's many ways of doing it. There are some cheap small apartments for sale to renovate. Do you think it's worth future-proof your pension? Property will always either maintain its value or go up. But here in Thailand, you can maybe lose some money as well. You might buy it but never be able to sell it. What do I think about Ed Sweeney's misfortune? I feel sorry for him. You know, he's not my cup of tea, but I come across his channel every now and then, and I'll watch 2 or 3 minutes of it. And he's not my cup of tea. But like I say, he's got 50,000 subscribers, so he's 50,000 people's cups of tea. And I've got 10,000, he's got 50,000. So what he does, it pleases some others, and what I do, I don't please 50,000, obviously. But everybody's got, their own way of doing it. Ed tried to fly home yesterday, but was refused boarding. In hospital now with infection of the brain. Nick Dean did a live stream from the hospital yesterday. Again, he should have been in hospital that first day when they diagnosed him. And hospital straight away. A stroke is very, very serious. Brian Jack's done a video about health insurance, still fit himself, but chipped a bone falling in the shower. You just never know. Yeah, again, I've done a few videos on health insurance and public hospitals and things like that. Hi, Les. Eddie is in hospital in Pattaya. Nick is sorting him out. Not a stroke. MRI done infection, so possible cure with medication. His insurance has been contacted now, so hopefully good outcome. Well, I hope so. That's what I'm saying, that the scan will give more information as to what he thought it was going to be cancer. Who knows? Hospital and the doctors, they're there to diagnose whatever's gone wrong. So, if you haven't got the money, go to the public hospital. At least, get some sort of medical treatment, because it's not going to go away. Good to hear that Nick's helped them sort him out and that. Steady Eddie was like one of the budget travelers, and he lived very thrifty with his money, if you like. So sometimes, when you have to, you've got to bite the bullet and be able to, pay for some medical insurance or pay for some medical treatment or have an emergency backup fund. That's what I'm saying. Also, with the people on the retirement visa who can't afford the medical insurance, if you've got the 800,000 baht in the bank, that can be your emergency backup for medical treatment. I'm sure that the cost will come out of everything with Eddie, how much it's going to cost and things like that in a private hospital. But I know it's not going to be cheap, but a public hospital will be cheaper. A lot of people are scared of the public hospitals, but my theory in all of this lot, a doctor is a doctor. A doctor in a public hospital is no less qualified than the doctor that works in the private hospitals. And I think I'm right in saying that majority of private doctors that work in the big medical, like Bangkok hospitals, they have to do so many hours in the private hospital area, because when all said and done, it's the Thailand that's trained them. So they have to do a certain amount of hours in a public hospital. You might not get the bells and whistles, but when all said and done, when you're sick, you just want anybody to help get you recovered. So best wishes to Eddie, and I hope he gets well soon. But again, silly man for ignoring things. Now I'm going to do, as we're sort of on this subject, what people fear about health-wise and things like that, and just some other things to take into consideration. Now, I live 45 minutes away from a public hospital and 50 minutes away from the Bangkok hospital, which is the private hospital. So I'm 45 minutes away. When I worked in the fire service, we had a ruling called the golden hour. And that golden hour is so vital, the fact that anybody that gets treated by a medical profession within that golden hour stands a far, far better chance of recovery than they don't. Now, I have medical insurance. So if anything ever happens to me, my wife had phoned the ambulance, and then the ambulance would come in and then take me to the hospital. But I'm 45 minutes away from the hospital. So it's going to take 20, 25 minutes from maybe as a local ambulance. Our ambulance service here doesn't work the same as it does in the UK, where there's a standard 8 minutes for a category 1 heart attack or something like that. 8 minutes response time. Here, you'd be lucky to get somebody within 20, 25 minutes. And then it's, say, another 40 minutes to the hospital. So there's my hour gone. So, like I'm saying, if you had the thought that you're having a stroke or something like that, look into the signs and symptoms of a stroke. Do not ignore it. Do not bypass it. Eddie was lucky because he's in Pattaya, so he's surrounded by hospitals. But if for us guys that live out in the sticks somewhere, it's even more important that you take note of what's happening with your body. Same with a heart attack. You know, the signs and symptoms of a heart attack. Be prepared to that. If you're going to have a heart attack, you know the signs and symptoms, and have some preventative measures. I mean, for me, I've got aspirin in my cupboard next to my bed, because aspirin thins the blood down, things like that. Look at preventative measures to help you survive a heart attack. Call the ambulance as soon as you feel like you're having a heart attack, wherever, and you can survive it. But the chances are, if you're an hour or so away from a hospital, the chances are against you. Bear in mind of that as well when you are looking for somewhere to live. The more remote you are, the more chances it's going to take longer to get from A to B if you're sick. So I think Eddie did okay because he was in Pattaya. I think he was a silly man for not having further tests done. Maybe shock set in. He looked very shocked when they said I've had a stroke, or they think they've had a stroke. So shock comes into it as well, but be realistic. Like, it's not going to go away. It needs treatment. So these are the things that you've got to think about once you move into the sticks, or, you know, further away from the public hospitals. I know that my chances of survival if I had a big heart attack are almost zero because of my location where I live. But that, you know, I'll take that on the chin. Anyway, you know what I'm saying. You get me drift. Yeah, something like that. It was more about not having to pay rent in a few years. Okay. Unfortunately, Eddie done some poor planning for retirement in Thailand, poor visa options, no Thai bank account, etc., cheap hotels, cheap travels on buses, etc. Yeah, but again, he was a thrifty man. But obviously, a lot of people liked his thriftiness because he had 50,000 subscribers. And when I read when I watched his second video, the fact of what his results were, there were doctors on there giving him advice. There were professional nurses. You know, a foreigner who was married to a nurse said they can get cheaper scans for him. So boy, did he had a lot of people, you know, looking out for him and suggesting alternatives and treatments. Even people offered to put him up at his house, at their own houses, just to help him out. Fantastic, absolutely fantastic support service he had from his supporters and a lot of well-wishers. But when all said and done, he brought it on himself. You know, he other people, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. And I think with Eddie, he should have had well with it. He's an older guy as well, so he should have had it in his back of his mind. If the brown stuff hits the fan, what does he need to do? So that's what he needs to do, doesn't he? He needs to, well, now it's an early warning. That may curtail the rest of his future travel plans because of health reasons. He may have to return back to the UK and sort of live a different lifestyle. Who knows? Anyway, 8-minute response into the UK. It's hours now, not minutes. Exactly, because when I went back to the UK over about a year and a half ago, I thought I had a heart attack. So I called the ambulance, and it took 4 hours for the ambulance to get to me, even though I was on an 8-minute response time. 4 hours, and then 5 hours before I was seeing a doctor. So yeah, you're lucky. 8 minutes. Canine pepper also thins the blood. Yeah. There are many things. Again, look into the. I've got a little, and I've said to my wife, if I have a stroke, give me this. If I think I'm having a heart attack, give me this. I've got a little preventative pack or a little pack of stuff that will help. I've got the telephone numbers of the hospital and the ambulance and things like that. So, and also to bear in mind, if your wife's out shopping or something like that and you have an injury, a heart attack or fall or stroke, you will never be able to tell the ambulance service to get to your house because you have no idea in Thai where you live. So you'd have to ask your wife. So one, you'd have to phone your wife up wherever she is or your partner, tell them that you're having the problems and get them wherever they are to call the ambulance and for them to get back. So have a plan B, have a backup plan for being able to do this. Nobody wants to suffer illness or things like that. But when all's said and done, we're getting older, so that's going to happen to more often. And I think if anything's Eddie is shown, he's shown that it can happen to anybody. And the fact that he's documented it and he's showing it and he's showing in reality, in real terms, how hard it is and where he's going to come from. And it's like me. I used to say, I've got enough money to get back to England. So if I have an accident or injury and then I go to the hospital, I've got enough money to get back to England. But like Eddie, he's got enough money to get back to England, but for medical reasons, he couldn't get on the plane. So hopefully his insurance will sort things out. Okay. Had to stay in local public hospital a few nights with food infection. Couldn't fault it at all. Again, the couple of people that I know have been having treatment in the public hospital, just as good as the NHS, for sure. Hi, Les, new subscriber here, looking to make the move next year. Hopefully, do you retain a UK address for bank and pension payments? No, everything is good. Well, I've got a UK bank account and I use my sister's address as a postal address only, and my bank knows that. No, I don't have an address in England at all. All it is just a postal address for bits and pieces. I do everything else online, pay any of the bills, insurances and things like that. So my pension gets transferred into my Barclays account, and then I use Barclays onto Wise, and then Wise sends me the money to Thailand. So yeah, that's how I do it. Thanks very much for the subscription. It all helps, and we're getting up there. 10,127 when I looked this morning. So thanks very much. Over that 10,000 mark now, and on our way to 11,000. I was a nurse, and when you work frontline, it's observations, vitals, that's important. He was seriously confused and also shocked not to think straight. Yeah, you could see in his face in the video. One, I mean, nobody wants to hear bad news, and bad news, you know, shocks anybody and everybody. Shock is a major accident as well, because you can die from shock. And just on his face, you could just see his face to say, I think I've had, you know, a stroke. And he wasn't thinking straight. But somebody should have sat and talked to him about, you know, before you walk out of the hospital, they actually probably did make him sign a piece of paper to say that they suggested this, but he turned it down. I don't know. But he needs, yeah. Well, he's in hospital now, isn't he? So that just goes to show it was more serious than what it was when he first walked out. Probably best to be, because if you don't, your pension won't get the increase. Yeah, I know about that. The pension living in Thailand, you don't get the annual increases if you're living in Thailand. You'll only get the annual increase if you live in a reciprocal country, and our nearest reciprocal country is the Philippines. Now, we've done a video on that about those people who haven't had a pension rise for a number of years. And now, for instance, the video that I did, it says that if you haven't had a rise from 2019 till now, 2024, you're getting a 24% pay rise. If you go to the reciprocal country for 185 days, then that new payment will be paid to you for the rest of your life. And it is feasibly possible to actually do that. So over a 10-year period, that's £27,000, £273 a month, I think it works out at. So that pays for your accommodation. The visa's £40 a month. So anyway, the video explains it all, but there are ways and means of increasing your pension. At the minute, I get a private pension from the fire service as well, so I don't get my state pension for another 2.5 years. So my increases will go up eventually with that also. And it's actually only when I claim my pension, it gets frozen at that. I can live with that. I can live with that. Again, there's other things I can do in the late stages. This is an anomaly because the last 2 years, 10.1%, and this year 8.7%. That, in the likelihood, will probably never, ever, ever happen again, where, you know, 24% in a number of 3 or 4 years or so. So it's worthwhile going to the Philippines for 185 days. Over the next 10 years, you will get £27,000 extra in your pocket. Don't look at it short term that it's going to cost you couple of thousand pounds to go to the Philippines. Just look at the bigger picture. In 10 years' time, how much you're going to get back. So swings and roundabouts, but there are ways and means to doing it, all legal and above board. I don't give any advice here that isn't legal and above board. But pensions is a big, big, big thing. How do you stand the heat? I have heard that the heat have been unbearable this year. Yeah, it's been very hot. It has been very hot. I think it's one of the hottest years on record it's been. That's what I'm saying. You sort of cope with it. You've got to get used to it. Like I say, in the hottest part of the season, do I feel uncomfortable? Yes, I do feel uncomfortable. But we still don't have the air conditioning on. I'd sooner sit in front of a fan than put the air conditioning on. Because there's a lady that I know, she moved here and she bought a house with a swimming pool, and it was a dream house. She loved it, absolutely loved it. And then it came to the hot season. So then she put the air conditioning on. Doors and all the windows are shut. So then she was in the house with the air conditioning on 24 hours a day. She never, ever went in the swimming pool again. She never, ever sat outside again because she said, it's too hot, it's too hot. I want the air conditioning on. So if you get used to a life of air conditioning, what's the point of having a swimming pool? What's the point of having a nice outside area? Where I'm sat now, this is our veranda. We sit out here most days. I've got a settee sat outside here. But if I'm used to the air conditioning, I'd never, ever sit out here. So yes, you've got to get used to it. You've got to tolerate it. I've lived here for 12 years. And the hot season is still the hot season. But now, a bit of rain, it brings the temperature down. The humidity goes up a little bit, but the temperature comes down. And eventually, it takes a lot of years to get used to it. But I agree. It's one of them things you've got to get used to it. But I would sooner sit here hot, sat in front of a fan, because the fan is so cheap to run, than sat in front of a gas fire or an electric heater or the central heating on back in the UK. Because then that costs a lot more to keep warm than it does to keep cool. But yes, I agree, it's hot. And when it's hot, it does get uncontrollably hot and sticky and uncomfortable. But you just get used to it. I find alcohol keeps my blood thin. And long may it happen. Well done for getting over 10,000 subscribers, Les. Thank you very much. I look medical insurance. I'm 57. It worked out around £100 a month to me, a no-brainer for the sake of £100 worth having. Yeah, that's quite for a 57-year-old. That's quite expensive. Have you looked at my Pacific Cross video? Have a look. Talk to Loic with regard to Pacific Cross. I've done a video on that, on health insurance and the costs. My medical insurance is up for renewal next month, and that's 24,000 baht, which is only 24.48, just around £500 a year. £500 a year, and that gives me 800,000 bahts worth of cover. And I'm 64 coming up in July. I must admit the temperature and humidity has been unbearable this year. One of the other one, cooler, humidity high, humidity drops, temperature goes up. And where I am, being in the foot, yeah. I mean, I'm fortunate because we sort of live in a bit of a bubble here in Rayong. I don't think it's ever got up to 40. It's always been in the mid-30s, which is brilliant. Bob White, hi Les. Hello, Bob. Do you think going to the Philippines for pension increase, is that just a 1-year thing? Again, I've done the video on the Philippines pension. It's so expensive. If you're only going to get a 3% increase, it's not worth it. If it's anything above 15 to 20%, as it is now, it's 24%, it's well worth doing it. Hospitals, Thailand are great from my experience. Yeah. On the subject of subscribing, I find that mine being taken away at the channel. When I look today, it has been unsubscribed and I had to subscribe again. This is not the first time it's happened. Or I don't know. I've no idea why that happens. I don't block anybody at all. For me, everybody's entitled to put the comment on, good or bad or wherever, unless it's offensive, and then I'll remove it. But YouTube do have a little, I've got a section on my YouTube channel where, you know, maybe potentially offensive. I never even look at that section because it's offensive. Then just let them deal with it. So, but subscribers, I've heard that somebody says the subscription has been cancelled, because me as a whatever YouTuber, I can't unsubscribe anybody. Bob White said, past few years the pension has been exceptional, so worth going to get the increase, but will go up to the current amount and then it will stay at that amount. Yeah, so like a 24%, it works out at, okay, at 24%. So that is, bearing in mind, if you haven't had a rise from 2019 until 2024, that's 23 point something. So let's call it 24%. That works out at over £270 a month extra. that you're not going to get if you haven't had a pension rise since 2019. So isn't it worth spending a little bit of money for 185 days? Either go to the Philippines, Turkey. There's a list of reciprocal countries. So even if you don't want to stay in the Philippines for the 185 days, go to Turkey, go to England, do 2 or 3 different places. But as long as you inform Her Majesty's tax collections or whatever, again, the video they did has got all the telephone numbers, the future pensions and things like that, telephone numbers, and inform them of where you are and proof where you are in a reciprocal country. You'll get the pension rise from that minute or from that day until you leave. And so 185 days guaranteed, absolutely 100% guaranteed, because I've had people thank me for the advice, and they phoned up the pensions department because I said, get it from the horse's mouth, and the horse's mouth says exactly the same as what I did. I wouldn't have said anything on YouTube. I wouldn't have put myself in front of camera if somebody could knock me down. And I know I'm 100% right because I've been told I'm 100% right by both the pensions department and other subscribers that have done it. So yeah, that's a big thing, pensions. Get it while you can, because over 10 years, that's over £27,000. If it costs you £3,000 in expenses for that first year, 185 days to get it, then you're still £24,000 better off over a 10-year period. I'd sooner have the £27,000 in my pocket than leave it to the government. Anyway, that's the pensions. Have a look at the videos. The videos tell it all. There's about 3 or 4 different videos on that. It's the pre-existing conditions of medical insurance that worry me. Yes, but that's the same with any insurance company. Pre-existing conditions they don't want. Any news on the Thai tax laws? There seems to be no concrete announcement. No, still, people have, or that the people in the know said something about July. They'll have everything in July, worked out in July. So tax July. There's so many rumors. But also there are so many. There's one tax company here are going to charge you 7,000 baht to submit your tax return. They're a big company at the minute, and they're all over Facebook and YouTube type of thing. But they will charge you 7,000 baht just to submit your tax details. And even they don't know the answers yet. But they're already saying they will do your tax 7,000 baht. And now you might not have to pay any tax. I think I'm going to end up paying a little bit of tax. With everything that have told me, I still think I'll still end up paying a little bit of tax. How much that's going to be, I don't know. But the fact that the personal allowance for Thailand, because they don't take into your personal allowance, okay, I'm sort of going off subject a little bit here, but your personal allowance in England is £12,570. They do not, you have not paid tax on £12,570. So to the Thai people, that is taxable. And they can give you credit for the tax that you've paid. So for ease of working, quick numbers, and it's ballpark figures. So let's say you bring over £20,000 a year. These are ballpark figures, and they're not exactly, but this is how it's been explained to me. So you've been taxed from 12,570 above that. So ease of working out numbers, 12,000. So you've been taxed on 8,000. So now there's 12,000 that hasn't been taxed because of your personal allowances. They don't take that into account for taxes. So they will give you a personal allowance in Thailand, which is 120,000 baht, which is only about 3,500 baht. So that's your personal allowances. So let's say upper limit of 4,000. So potentially from the 12,000 pounds that you haven't paid tax they'll allow you 4,000. So potentially they could still tax you on that difference between 4,000 and 12,000. So that's £8,000. They could potentially still tax you on that £8,000 because it hasn't been taxed by anybody. But again, the devil's in the detail. So we shall see. And this is what all the tax experts are working out, because it is so complicated. Hopefully, fingers crossed, they'll just turn around and say, if you're retired, you're on a pension, you're not going to pay tax. But hey, everybody's scrambling for money now, and Thailand, why should there be any different? But we shall see. And I'm sure when it comes out, there'll be hundreds of videos on it when it comes out. Sorry, I had a question there. Let's see if I can scroll back about a scooter. See if I can scroll back a bit. Right, does owning a scooter and motorbike make your medical insurance slightly higher? No, it doesn't. It doesn't make your insurance any higher whatsoever. You can take out accident insurance as well, which is very cheap over here, just to sort of bump up your insurance that you got for riding a motorbike. But if you don't have medical insurance, accident insurance, and you don't have a proper license, your insurance is null and void anyway. So don't hire a scooter or drive a motorbike if you haven't got the license for it. And again, riding around without a helmet on is just, in my mind, stupidity to the highest degree. You know, Thailand is one of the worst countries in the world for motorbike accidents. And driving around on a motorbike without a helmet, you're just asking for stupidity. But that's my answer to it. I always wear a helmet. Well, thanks for the great. I'll watch your video on that speciality. Again, I've done many videos on different things. It's just a case of searching through. I've done on divorce. I've done it on bankruptcy. I've done it on internet dating. I've done it on the keto, which I'm on at the minute, on solar, on water filtration. So I'm sort of a guy that has many different videos, and it's not all about you know, the girls in Pattaya. In fact, there's very few about the girls in Pattaya. There was a pensioner in the paper yesterday. He emigrated years ago, and his pension was frozen at 190. Yeah, there's a guy lives in Canada. I think he's only 200 meters away from the American border. 200 meters away, but if he lived over that border, he'd get his pension rises every year. But because he lives in Canada, he doesn't get it. And there's just been a petition, and it was read out in the Houses of Parliament, because there's 5,000 or 50,000. There's a lot, maybe it's 50,000, or is it 500,000? Anyway, the numbers, I've read that many numbers. But there's thousands and thousands of people not getting their rise because they don't live in a reciprocal country. And the government have just turned around and says, we have no plans to change this. It's a 70-year-old law that was brought in 70 years ago, and we have no intentions of changing the law because it means paying out extra money. And if the government can avoid paying out extra money, so be it. That's what it was never, ever going to happen, was it? So, yeah, you're screwed. They don't want you to spend your pension anywhere else but the UK. Even though you're not using the health services and things like that, you're penalised. And it's like me, because I've left England more than 6 months. Statistically, I can't get treatment in the NHS. I have to go on the list and wait for 2 years. But if I arrived on a little dinghy in Dover somewhere, I can get medical treatment straight away, and I don't have to pay for it. So that's probably my next, if I have any illness, big illness, just arrive back in England on a rubber dinghy and just say I've lost my passport and I can't speak English, you know, and I've got a big treatment that needs to be paid for. No, never. I've done another video on that. This is where I'm going to stay. This is where I'll see my dying days, in Thailand. If I get a terminal illness, I will not be going back to the UK for treatment. I'll bite the bullet and take it on the chin. And this is where I'll see my dying days. I certainly won't be getting on a plane going back to England. White Van Man, it's the humidity this time of the year. You're literally soaked in sweat, especially if you're doing anything. Yeah, it's like, you can see now the sweat, and I'm just sat here. A little bit there, a little bit there. You just sweat all the time, and doing any physical work, I mean, it just comes out of everywhere. So you've got to drink plenty of water, and I drink plenty of water every day. And I haven't had a beer for over 2 weeks now because I'm on my keto diet, and that's full of carbs. So 0 calorie drinks, fantastic. 89 and still in the house. Wow, thanks very much for coming in, everybody. And so have you got any other questions that you need to be asked? There is a YouTuber selling a tax service in Pattaya, $400 for each tax consultation and filling in the expats living. Yeah, that might be that guy. That's 7,000 baht. No, that's 160 quid. 160 quid, about $200. So he's on YouTube now, and he's on Facebook. He's all over the place. And to be fair, he does a webinar every week, and he comes up with some good answers. But 7,000 baht for them to tell the tax people you don't need to pay any tax, or you need to pay a bit of tax or whatever. I think in the first 1 or 2 years, it'll be like pennies from heaven for them, because everybody's going to be scared, everybody's going to be frightened of it all, and everyone's going to be, I don't know what to do. It's like the visas over here. The visas over here are easy to get, so easy to get yourself. You don't need to use an agent, but somebody will use an agent, pay 30 to 40,000 baht because an agent does all the paperwork. And I think the tax is going to be the same. They're sort of in the early years, first year, second year, they can just charge whatever they want because the paperwork, and everybody's like, oh, I don't know what to do. So they'll pay somebody 7,000 baht to tick a few boxes and do it themselves and get an agent to do it. That's just my opinion, but I could be wrong. Right, what is the average pension amount for the UK? UK pensioners living around Pattaya. Now, I've done a couple of videos, and I think you can live, maybe it's not around Pattaya, on 35,000 baht a month. For sure, you can. And that just happens to be what the UK state pension is at the minute, around about 35,000 baht a month, depending on exchange rates, of course. It may go up, may go down. But I think you can live a reasonable, well, a certainly better lifestyle than living in the UK on that amount of money. Okay, if you live in the UK and you have that amount of money, you're going to get other benefits for housing benefits and things like that. But that you're still going to struggle. You're still going to be very cold from October till about April. Shut up in a little pensioner's flat, maybe going to the Darby and Joan club, having your pie and peas, playing bingo. Or you can be sat here on the veranda drinking a few tinnies and enjoying, what life can offer you. There's a guy that I know. He's a sociable guy. I think he's 80 years old. He's coming up to 80 years old now, and he's quite a sociable guy. So he drinks almost every day. He has a bit of adult entertainment every week, if you know what I mean. If you get me drift, and he lives on his pension. His accommodation is a small studio that he only pays 4,080 quid a month for. And for the rest of it goes on wine, women and song. And he has sort of a good life. And he's a sociable guy, but he manages on 35,000 baht a month. So it can be done. But Pattaya, yeah, it's a lot more expensive in Pattaya. All right, see where else. There must be people, especially women who retired at 60, emigrated, whose pension must be pitiful. But your money goes much further here. If you're careful, your money will go a lot further here. But if you are not thrifty with it and not careful with it, even though you're living in a cheap country, everything is quite expensive. So all the cheap things all add up to be an expensive thing. Again, if you lived in Jomtien and think you no need for a car because the BART bus is 10 baht to get around, and if you're retired, you've got all the time in the world anyway, so you're never in any rush. The accommodation in Jomtien is, I think, reasonably priced. You can get all over the place. Now, if you lived in a high tourist area like Hua Hin or Phuket, then the prices are going to be substantially more. It's like where I live in Rayong. A beach is a beach. The sea's still warm, and it's much cheaper to live here, much cheaper to rent a house here, if that's what you're looking for. Affordability to live here is much easier than it is in Phuket. Phuket is stunningly beautiful. It is, and I've got to agree, it's a beautiful place. But boy, do you pay to live in such a beautiful place. Rayong, for me, isn't on the tourist map, so therefore it's reasonably priced to live here, and that's why many people live here. As a single guy or a girl living here, it can be a little bit tougher because there isn't the entertainment that there is elsewhere. So swings and roundabouts. Get your girl, get your wife, wherever. Come live in Rayong. It's much cheaper than most places in Thailand. We have some fabulous beaches here. We have Koh Samet, which is 30 minutes away, one of the top 10 whitest beaches in the world. Beautiful location, nice to live here. I love it here. I came here for 2 weeks and I've been here for 10. Came here for 2 weeks and I've been here for 10 years. Yeah, in Rayong. Love it. All right. Yeah. Okay. The other thing we talked about, sadly, Eddie and the situation that he's in for insurance and things like that. And the other one is running out of money. If you run out of money, boy, it can be very difficult also. And I've got to take my hat off to Ben from living in Thailand, who built his big house in the countryside with his solar, independent living, big farm. I take my hat off to him. He's had to go back to England to earn some money, and he's very open and honest about it, is that he needs to earn some money. And he's still in his mid-40s, so he hasn't sort of reached the retirement age yet. And I don't think he's got any future pensions coming apart from his state pension. Now, he is a chef, and he's working around England, and he's on some good money whilst he's back in England. But sustainability, if you think you can live here in Thailand on next to no money, that's an impossibility. That's just a pipe dream, and that's never, ever going to happen. So Ben is back in England now, and again, I take my hat off to him. He's paying the price to earn some money so he can come live back here in Thailand. So financial preparations, sometimes everybody has a plan and that plan falls to bits, and then they run out of money. And I think what Ben's done, he's realised he was heading for that situation. So he's jumped and he's done something about it before he gets to I've got nothing left in the bank now. And I know some people have already got to that situation where they have got no money and they're borrowing and stealing from other people to maintain living here in Thailand. Now, that's a very difficult thing to do. So, yeah, be prepared and have your budget and have a backup plan. So if you sort of get to your trigger point that something needs to be done, don't ignore the trigger point. Trigger points happen everywhere, don't they? Even in finances and things like that and health-wise. If you hit that trigger point, do something about it and make things happen. Thailand might not be the place that you're ever going to end up in because you've got no money. And if you have no money, Thailand is a tough place anyway. There are homeless people from all nationalities living on the beach in Pattaya. And it's quite sad to see because, when you've got to that situation, nobody wants anything to do with you. Nobody wants to support you. Nobody wants to help you out, because if you can't do nothing in return and you just beg, borrowing and money from everyone, how are you going to pay it back? There was a good video on the Philippines. A guy went broke and bust in the Philippines, and they did a whole long video for him. John, I think they called him, and he had a Filipino girl and 2 kids. He had a budget that should have seen him until he got his pension, but he was 4 years short of that, and he ran out of money, so he had to go back to America and sort his life out. And we're all guilty of that. That's why you need to put your ducks in a row and get everything sorted, so you know you've got the money to survive here in Thailand. Without money, you can't live here in Thailand. You do need money. It's not for free. Okay, what else? Okay, right. So what else have we got going on? Anything? There's video on the tax with a Swedish ambassador and a tax. Yeah, the tax thing. There's many people and there's many videos about it, and everybody skips from video to video to video to watch something about the tax, hoping that they're going to find something new. And in reality, they're not going to find anything new, because there's nothing to find. When the tax experts don't know what's going on, you know, nobody can sort it. You've got to wait, be patient till June, July. July is the month that I heard that people are going to get it sorted out, because then we're 7 months into the system, and it's a bit sad, isn't it, when they're starting to tax you from the 1st of January, but nobody knows how much they're going to tax you. So when it comes out, it'll be massive news. It'll be over every YouTube. It'll be everywhere. It'll be in the papers. It'll be just everywhere. So you've just got to wait and be patient until that comes out. The messages have gone down a little bit now. So, okay, what else has been happening? Okay, I've got a. Let me think. No, I can't say that yet. No, I can't say that yet. I can't say that for another couple of weeks or so. So it's been 2 weeks since my last live stream, and as I say, for those people who think that they're bored and they've got nothing to do, well, you need to do something. You need to get a hobby, and there are many things that you can do here in Thailand. But if you just sit and become a barstool warrior, then that's the sad, slippery slope of going downhill. Now, as I say, we have a brunch club every Thursday, and it's anywhere from 6 to 12 people that come there. And we have Americans, Canadians, Irish, English, a couple of Finnish people have been down there. And we put the world to right on a Thursday for brunch, 11 o'clock until maybe it's 12, 1 o'clock. And we have a bit of a meal together, and we have a little bit of a chat together. So, yeah, join little clubs like that. There are plenty of opportunities to start all sorts of hobbies, fishing, motors, bikes, things like that. And if you look on the Facebook groups, like me with Rayong, there are plenty of groups to be able to help keep you satisfied and with other like-minded people. It's like now I did a video on Michelle's cat sanctuary. And now every month I give her a day to go and do some work for her. And I was there last week, and I put some new rollers on the sliding gate, and there was a storm a few days before, so I brought a tree down, so I got rid of all the branches. So voluntary work. I did a day for her, voluntary. And I love cats anyway, so working at Michelle's on the cat sanctuary, 1 day a month, it's not too much to give, is it? But the feeling of well-being and something like helping other people out, and the cat sanctuary, it's good anyway. But she welcomes volunteers. So again, I've done another video on the Michelle's cat sanctuary. Have a look at that. And, you know, if you want to go help to do various things around the cat sanctuary, she's more than happy to have somebody come along and do a little bit of work. And those people that are watching from abroad, she actually offers free accommodation for a number of hours per week in Melonpun. So that's good for her. You know, it's good for the traveller. So they get free accommodation for doing a little bit of charitable work at the cat sanctuary. Now, another. This is a biggie. This one, whether people are interested in it, and I don't know. But it's for us older people being able to buy a property here in Thailand. Now, I'm buying this property on what's called a rent-to-buy system. And by doing that, I pay a little bit more than what I was paying for rent. But over a number of years after that, then the property is mine. It's much more difficult to get a rent-to-buy property, but it is possible. That's what I'm saying. Thailand offers so many different possibilities of being able to own property. There's going to be a lot more people in the comments. You can never own anything in Thailand. Yes, but for me, paying rent is sort of a bit of a waste. If there's means and ways and the way to buy property without actually losing it as well, because there are ways and means of you can buy a property that you will not lose the property also to your Thai partner or your wife. Again, I've done videos on that, and there's ways and means of doing it. And if anybody wants any more information, just send me email. I'll put my email on the bottom, and I'll give you methods of being able to do it. There's me Pearson. Uh, 58 at yahoo.com. Okay, just send me information. Oh, that hasn't come on. Why hasn't it come on? Okay. Oh, the chat stopped. So if I've missed some people out, I don't know why the chat stopped, but I apologize for that. Like Les, I'm looking to have a great private pension, would struggle to live on just the state pension. Yeah, it's not for everybody, but you've got to look in your later life. For me, you've got to look in your later life where you'd be happy to live. And for me, if I just had my pension, I could live on my pension. I could live on my pension here. Obviously, your needs are going to go down, but it is easily achievable. Even on £800 a month, you could live here. All Ben seems to do is moan on his vlogs, bless him. I don't think he's in a very happy place at the minute. Would he wish to be there? Certainly not. Would he wish to be in a little place, bedroom like that? No, he wouldn't. But he's got a beautiful house in Thailand, but he's working for that. So every little day that goes by, it's another few pounds earned so he can live the dream in Thailand. And I take my hat off to Ben. He's admitted it. He's run out of money, and he's gonna move on from that. And he will be able to live here for a few months, and then he'll have to go and do it all again. Hi, Les, hope you're well from Scott in New Zealand. Hi, Scott from New Zealand. I thought voluntary work in Thailand was illegal, as you are possibly taking work away from a Thai. Technically, it is. Technically, you need a work visa, but it's like everything else. Are they really going to bother you when you're doing something charitable? If you're earning money from it, yes, they will bother you. But if you're doing something charitable, they sort of let it slide a little bit. And Michelle's been here for a number of years looking after the cats. Nice people get looked over, if you like people turn a blind eye. If they can turn a blind eye for you riding with no insurance and no helmet on a motorbike, I'm sure they can turn a blind eye at somebody helping, cats or dogs, But technically, you're correct, 100%. You need a work visa, even to do voluntary work over here. He was never going to get on that plane with his condition. Yeah, 12-hour flight. Yeah. He might have even died on the plane. I've read a couple of the comments with the doctor type of thing. going on a plane. You could have easily died on the plane with pressure. Question: if you are voluntary, your time, just shut up. That's been retracted. Okay. I'm 38 with okay savings, moving to Hawaii in September with a plan of staying for around 3 years, then go back to work in Australia for 3 months of the year to pay for the other 9. Well, good luck with that. As I said, best wishes for that. I hope you're pretty young at 38 to do that. That might cause some issues with visas and things like that. Do you have a plan B if things go P-shaped, or are your eggs in one basket? I always have a plan B. I always think outside of the box. I always think, what if? And so what do you think might go a bit P-tong for me here in Thailand? What do you think is going to be so bad that I can't do nothing about it? So just put that in your comments. What do you think is the worst case scenario that would happen? And I'll tell you, and I'll be blunt with my plan B. My budget will be a monthly home of about $5,000. I don't drink alcohol like the ladies when I could go to meet ladies without having to go to the bars. Well, is that 5,000 US dollars or 5,000 Australian dollars? Because there's a big difference. But even with $5,000 US dollars, you'd have a fantastic life over here. Question: if you're a builder by trade, then it's illegal to build your own house without help in Thailand. Don't know. I don't know about that, because it's your own house, isn't it? And you're allowed to do some work in your own house. Even more so if you're married, because you're maintaining the home. So potentially you could build your own house, because it's your house when all's said and done. But I'd strongly suggest not building your own house, because the heat over here will just kill you. It would kill you, or it can kill you, the heat. I had my dreams because I wanted to build my own house in France, and I was literally going to build it myself, brick by brick. And but would I attempt that here in Thailand? Absolutely not. That metal fence there, there's 10 panels of it. I got somebody to paint it, because I was painting one panel in a day, and I was in the sun, and I had my hat on, I had everything covered, just painting a fence. And I just said, no. And I got a Thai person to do it, and they charged me like 600 baht a day to sit in the sun all day and paint my fence. Now, to be fair to the Thais, they are used to working in this type of temperature. We are not. So therefore, it's more comfortable for them than it is for us. And they're just on about making the Thai wage now, minimum wage, up to 400 baht a day. 400 baht a day, that's like a tenner a day. Who would work in England for? I mean, the minimum wage in England is more than £10 a day anyway. £10 an hour, not a day. So that's what I'm saying. Some jobs, like the solar and stuff like that, I'll do it myself because I'm interested in doing it myself. But other jobs that are going to take all day, I'll get some Thai person to do it. You answered the question for me on the visa for volunteering. Thank you. Yeah. So, yeah, swings and roundabouts. US dollars and maybe more. Well, $5,000 is, you'll have a fantastic life living on here, and $5,000. I live on 55 to 60,000 baht a month, which is probably about £1,400 a month. And I live, for me, my lifestyle, I'm happy with this. And I couldn't live for this. I couldn't live this lifestyle back in England on that amount of money. So dollars, you'll have a good life. Les, why doesn't the UK pension not increase in Canada? I thought it was part of the Commonwealth. And US. Well, it might be the other way. It might be the other way around. I might have got that wrong then. But I know it's he lives 200 meters away from the border, and in one country he gets his pension, and the other country. So I might have got that mixed around. But I'm sure it was 90% sure it was. He lives in Canada, but if you lived in America, you'd get it. Hello, Les. You're looking well. Thanks very much, Bill. I built my own house on the Thai farm, no help except for pouring concrete, etc. Not an issue, of course. I'm married to a Thai. Exactly. You know, if it's your own property, well, you know, who are the immigration officers? You can't do this, you can't do that, you can't. But they'll take your money every month, but you know, you can't do it. Sad news about Ed. I will have to watch next video about Ed if it's still up. Yeah, I'll have to have a look at that. I mean, again, he's not my cup of tea. But also, when I heard about it, I watched it and I felt sorry for him. But again, he's pointed out a strong message for those people to come here without insurance. It's a fool's game. If you're feeling anywhere ill, go and seek medical attention. Don't be scrimping and saying, "Oh, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that." Potentially, by not getting that scan when he did, he could have lost his life. He could have had a second stroke or something else that was going on. Seek medical attention straight away. I'll get a Social Security pension on top of my 5,000 monthly income when I turn 62. I really hate hanging about around people drinking because I'm an alcoholic who doesn't drink anymore. Oh, well, good for you for being an ex-alcoholic. For that amount of money, you're going to have a fabulous time. You really will. You really, really will. There's sort of nothing you can't afford. You could live a good lifestyle on that, and well done for becoming dry and an alcoholic no more. Best wishes, my friend, and I hope everything goes well for you. But you can have a damn good life on that amount of money. Hi, Les. What SIM card in your phone to get one-time passwords from people like banks or Wise? I don't have passwords from my Barclays bank, but I have from my Bangkok bank, things like that. And I use AIS. AIS works. I've had AIS, the same SIM card now for 10 years, and everything works okay with it. Yeah, hard tulip, all depends on whether there's a reciprocating agreement. Australia, unbelievably, is another one where the increase does not apply. Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? Who is Ben? Is he the watch repair bloke? No, Ben is the guy called Living. He's a chef, and he's gone back to England now to earn a few bob so he can come back and live the happy life here in Thailand. But Ben, he built a house in the middle of the sticks. He got a big plot of land. He's going to do a farm with there. No electricity there, so he's gone all solar. So I like Ben. You know, I like Ben. So it's either life in Thailand or living in Thailand. And yeah, I like, he's probably one of the YouTubers I like watching. Do we need a work permit to do voluntary work? Technically, yes, you do. But unofficially, people will still, I did voluntary work in Koh Kud 9 years or so ago. And they wanted me to stay and work there for a year, sort of technically, you know, not even on the books, just doing voluntary work. But the accommodation they give me, I wouldn't keep a dog in the accommodation that they wanted me to stay in. So I did it for 3 weeks and I said, no, enough's enough. But it was a fantastically beautiful, it was the Kinnery Resort in Koh Kud. So have a look on booking.com, Kinnery Resort, and that was about 8 years or so ago. Beautiful location, but the accommodation they give me was crap. But no, technically correct, you should have a work permit, which then just makes everything much more complicated. I have the Wise app on my phone, but HSBC sent out the auto when I move money to my... Yeah, again, they're actually looking after your money. They're actually looking after your money, so that the complications they put in the way can be overcome, but it's frustrating sometimes, I know. I think Ed has insurance. Well, I hope he has insurance. You know, he says he did, but how much it is. And as somebody pointed out the other day, his insurance might not pay out because he sort of refused the treatment that was offered, you know, like a scan and things like that. So he might have actually shot himself in the foot. Hopefully he hasn't. Maybe had the same problem, had to go back to the UK for treatment, was a lucky guy to survive. Yeah. Ed claimed he had insurance before he left the UK. Well, again, that's up in the air. I hope he has, and I hope he can sort of be able to claim on it. Life in Thailand, Ben. It's good. Good idea to go to the government hospital straight away just to get blood work. You get a hospital number and you're in the system. Yeah, again, that's what I've said to my wife. If I'm ill or if I'm unconscious, take me to the public hospital first. My insurance will go further in a public hospital than it would do in the Bangkok hospital. So yeah, you've got to look after yourself when you're at our age, if you like, because we've got more years behind us than we have in front of us. And you know, nobody wants you when you're old, because at the end of the day, it costs money when you're old, like insurances and things like that. So have a plan B, what's going to happen. Les, I might go to Newcastle Quayside Market later. I'm 51. I have not been for years. Yeah, that was the last place I went on my way home, at the Quay Market. Before I came back to Thailand, I stopped in a Wetherspoons hotel, and I stopped in a travel lodge, and I had a beer at the Wetherspoons hotel. Sadly, because I had a throat infection, I couldn't finish it off. I had to leave half a pint of beer because I couldn't swallow because of the pain. Yeah, freelancers in Patty, yeah, that happens. Freelancers everywhere, really. As most British Commonwealth countries are in the frozen list, including Australia, Canada, it was Canada, and South Africa, New Zealand, India. Yeah, it was a law made 70 years ago, and they're not going to change it because it means paying out extra money. Are the opticians any good over there? As good as the UK glasses, cheaper than the UK? I don't know. I don't. These are 199 baht from 7-Eleven. And if I take them off now, it's blurry. For 199 baht, and if I put them on, I can read the comments. So yeah, but I've again, this lady that I know in the late 50s, she went to the opticians and she paid 29,000 baht for bifocals. This is when she had a bit of money, and then she spent virtually all of her money, and she went to another opticians, and she paid 5,000 baht for the glasses that were bifocal. So 5,000 and 28,000, there's a big difference. But she said, I'm happy with the 5,000 baht ones. I should have gone to them before. It's like everything else. If they see you walking through the door, they'll be cheeky, and they might give you a big price because you're a foreigner. So like everything else, shop around, find out what the prices are here, there, and everywhere. But it's like if you go to the doctor. I went to a pharmacy around the corner from us because I've got like tennis elbow or gout or something in my elbow, and it hurts. So I wanted some ibuprofen just to take the inflammation away. So in the pharmacy around the corner from where I live, because I live in a village, 40 baht for a pack of 6 or 12 ibuprofen tablets. The 600 milligrams, I think they are. I went into Banpei, did a bit of shopping at Tesco, and I thought, oh, there's a pharmacy here in a shop next to Tesco. As soon as I walked through the door, my hackles were risen, the red flags were waving. Pharmacies, they're respected people over here, that like akin to a doctor. So when I walked into the pharmacy, this guy got up, no shirt on whatsoever. So straight away I'm thinking, well, he doesn't look professional. And he came across and he threw the ibuprofen on. He said, these are better. They're better than them. So how much are them? He said 160 baht for the same pack that I got for 40 baht. I said, okay. I said, I'll leave that. He said, why do you want to leave it? He said, why? I said, because it's 160 baht. I can get them for, he said, they're cheap. They're imitations. Oh, okay, it doesn't matter. If they are cheap and they're imitations, pharmacies don't sell knockoff pills. You only get them from the vendors walking around the street. So yeah, shop around for everything. Ben's YouTube channel, Life in Thailand. Thanks much for that. It's worth watching. He's a good guy, and as I say, I do feel sorry for him living in his little bedsit. He must hate it in comparison with his dogs back at home and his farmland and the trees and things like that. I wish him well. I hope he gets back soon. But I think it's just sort of, it's hit home that money is always going to be a problem, because he's a young guy anyway. He's less than 50. So he's going to struggle, and he's not going to get his pension, I think, until he's 70 now. So good luck with what he's doing. Thanks for the tip, Martin. I would hate to hang out at the bars and fall back into the... Yeah. Again, stay away from the bar. Well, you've been tough on yourself, as I say, to be able to do that. So don't undo what you've took years to do. Let's do the rents go down more in the rainy season? Not really, no. That's the time of year where you can get some good quality houses, and especially if you sign up for a year. In the high season, the rents always go up anyway, and they're less available in the high season. You said it. Nobody wants you when you're old. I'm waiting for the custom euthanasia cocoon sale. Well, yeah, I could mention a few safe ways of that situation, euthanasia, and totally painless. And when the time comes, there's a method that I would use, totally painless and sort of euphoric on your way out. And there's, again, Google that. You can, a euphoric way of ending your bad situation if you ever get into that. And again, I've looked at that. That's one of my plan C's, plan D's. But there are easy ways to do that, euthanasia. But I'm all in favor of euthanasia. If you are in serious pain, then you don't want to live anymore. Your quality of your life, you don't want to live anymore. So there are ways and means of taking care of that and doing it under your own supervision. I was quoted 70 grand for bifocals. Another shop I paid 5k, but now I'm going to 7-Eleven next time. They come in lots of nice colours and different strengths. Now, for me, when I retired from the fire brigade, I always had to wear reading glasses. So I got a laser vision done on one eye. So I've got not bifocal, I've got a monovision eye. So one eye sees long distance and the other eye sees short distance. But that was 10 years ago now. And if the light isn't good, I can't read with my left eye like I used to be able to do. So I'm working my way back to glasses. But Laser Vision said they would do another... It cost me £1,000 the last time I had it done. And they said they would do some corrective laser work, and that would cost me £400. And for me, it lasted less than 10 years. It only lasted about 5 or 6 years. That was good. Then after that, it just went down, and now I need glasses to read in certain lighting conditions. So when all said and done, laser vision isn't the answer, unless you get the lenses replaced, where you'll never get cataracts and you'll never ever get bad vision. But that's about £5,000, £6,000, £7,000, and I don't want to pay that amount of money when I can get a pair of glasses from 7-Eleven for like 199 baht. But if I had £7,000, would I spend it on? No, I wouldn't. No, I'd still go for the 199 baht pair of glasses from 7-Eleven. Yeah, online opticians get their glasses made in Thailand. My wife got glasses done for virtually nothing here. Only thing is the language barrier, but language barriers can be overcome. As I say, you just find somebody that's pretty good at English and everything can be sorted out. Thai in English, should say. You only live once. Of course you do. You only live just the one time. There's no rehearsal for the next time. Do you mean a 12-month visa? Did you do it yourself or use an agent? I always do it myself. I've only ever used an agent once, and that was many years ago because my fire brigade pension letter hadn't come through. And when he did the work for me, I could have done it myself. Don't tell Ben he won't get his pension until he's 70. He'll be swinging from the rafters. Yeah, but his roof isn't very high, is it? So he'd have to move to another place to be able to swing off the rafters. Is the weather overcast behind you? It looks foggy. No, that's my picture. When I set the video up, when I set my camera up, it was raining in the background, so it was sort of the white balance and the settings has all gone wrong. It's over bleached at the back. I know it's not foggy, it's blue skies now out the back of me. Oh, maybe it's a bit cloudy, but that's to do with my camera settings and me, because when I set everything up, these walls here weren't in the shot because I took my table back, so you just got all of that in the background. But then a big thunderstorm shower came, so I had to move the table and everything back towards the house so the rain didn't fall on the table. But no, it's the camera. It's beautiful blue skies over there and a little bit cloudy over that way. But it's a rainy season now, so it'll rain for an hour or two and then it'll stop. What do you think of contact lenses, Les? I've never tried them. Never had contact lenses in. I just think they're okay. But if I needed to, when I get a bit older, I might try the contact lenses. I don't know how much they are, to be fair, so I don't know. I don't know how expensive they are or how cheap they are. So it's something I've never looked into, really. But I'll have a look into it and see how much it's going to cost. Cracking down for foreigners. You can't search at Bangkok Post online for several articles as well as Pattaya. Okay, I don't know about that. I tried to get contact lenses in Thailand, but they were only do ones, not plus seems weird. I don't know. Pardon me, I don't know. But sight is important. As I said, I loved it when I could read the menus without glasses on, because you used to have to carry glasses in my pocket all the time. And now I've got my glasses in the car. I've got glasses everywhere. I've got about 4 or 5 pairs of glasses hidden all over the house in case I misplace one set of glasses. But the difference on having the glasses on and having the glasses off is that, yeah, I definitely need glasses now, for certainly for reading and things like that. But I'm coming up to 64 now, so yeah, that's the thing. When you're getting old, things start not to work properly. Know someone who has used an agent for a number of years, doesn't meet races. Doesn't meet the financial requirements, but they could clamp down at any time. A lot of people do the visa run. There's ways and means of obtaining your visa without using an agent, even if you don't meet the financial conditions. And the methods that I can suggest are probably more legal than using an agent. And it is possible, because I've recommended it to many people and they do the system that I mentioned. And that's without using an agent. And it's far, far cheaper than using an agent. But again, it's like understanding the system. It's bending the system, bending the rules, but not breaking the rules. I mean, as I said, there's nothing more than if you use an agent and they're cracking down on it, the 800,000 baht that's in your bank account could be in your bank account for 2 or 3 minutes. And they can see that. But because the agents have the contacts to everything. It's one of them things that's overlooked. But there's other solutions to that where you don't need to that. And the proof is in the pudding. You can be asked to show your bank book anytime, which the immigration department are entitled to look at your bank book or savings at any time they want to make sure that if you're on a retirement visa, that you have the necessary funds in your bank account. But doing on one of the other methods that I show, it's guaranteed. You've got nothing to fear from the immigration office, and it's such a simple way of doing it, and it's guaranteed to get you a retirement visa every year at 1,900 baht, not what the agents charge. I know once the agents have done the initial legwork and got your visa, that can be done from anything from 12 to 15,000 on a renewal every year. But for 10 years, they've been saying they're going to crack down on visa agents. And there's more visa agents now than there was 10 years ago. So visa agents will always be there because they make the effort of getting a visa much simpler if you pay a little bit of money. Well, a little bit of money, anywhere from 30 to 59,000. Somebody said they paid the other day when they were talking to me. 59,000. 59,000 baht for an agent to do the work for a 2,000 baht visa. Do you know if they have horse races or dog races where you can go to and bet a few? No, gambling is illegal in Thailand. There is no dog races and no horse races in Thailand because gambling is forbidden. But saying that, they're on about opening up a casino here in Thailand now, because I think they see Cambodia and the money that's raking in. And a lot of Thai people go over the border in Cambodia and go gamble in Cambodia because it's legal. And of course, the Chinese have got the hand in building casinos here. So where they're going to build the first casino, nobody knows. But as sure as anything that goes on here, the money that the casinos will make will be stupendous. It's like the Thais don't want the Thai people to gamble, but they may consider something like the Singapore casinos that you have to pay. When I was in Singapore, Singaporean had to pay £60 to enter a casino as a tax to dissuade them from gambling. So they might do that to the Thai people, but the money that'll bring in, it'd be phenomenal, because the Thais like gambling, that's for sure. Do I play sports? No, I don't play sports. I was never good at football. I liked rugby when I was at school, but no. Do I play poker or chess? I used to play chess. I'm not gambling. Never played cards. Is it true that all the really true about all the best looking ladies are working now and go-go clubs are walking street because they pay the girls the most money? I don't know. There's beautiful girls everywhere here. But for sure, the bars now are struggling to get beautiful girls to work because of that situation that happened when everybody was sick and everybody had to stop at home. The girls discovered that they could make a lot of money online without actually doing anything, if you get my drift, where they just need to show a few photographs and show a little bit of dancing and cavorting around. They can make more money doing that than they could do sitting in the bars in Thailand. And that's why there's lots of doing them online, because they can make a lot more money without actually doing anything for it, apart from doing a little bit of jiggy and singing and dancing on a camera. And people give people lots of money for doing that. So the girls that are working in the bars, I take my hat off to them, because, it's not the best place to come and earn a living. But they're also looking for a sponsor that will take care of them for the rest of their lives. And when you see somebody face to face, you get a better impression of them than you do watching them online. So anyway, that's a whole new subject. I can talk about that all day. Hi, Les, question and UK pensions. Can you go back for 3 months and then again later in the year for 3 months? Yes, you can. As long as it's 185 days in one financial year, and that's from April the 6th to April the 5th. As long as you spend 185 days in that reciprocal country, you can claim your pension increase. So yeah, again, like as I say, when I said about moving or going to the Philippines for 6 months, it can be Turkey, it can be, I think France is a reciprocal, but there's a number of reciprocal countries. If you Google it, reciprocal countries for UK state pensions, it'll come up with all the countries that are available. Oh, some ants biting my feet. So yeah, that's well possible, but you need to make sure you phone them up on the day that you arrive, and then the day that you leave, and then the day you re-arrive again. And I just think it's a no-brainer, especially if you haven't had a rise for 4 or 5 years. 24% pay rise. You know, who'd turn their noses up at that? I know I wouldn't. I'd be seriously thinking is why I made the video, because people can do it. If the boot was on the same foot, I'd be doing it. Do you go to Cambodia to gamble, Liz? No, I don't gamble. Never have. Well, never have done. I used to do the lottery at work for 30 years and we never won anything. So no, I don't gamble. I don't drink an awful lot. So I'm like a boring old fart, really, aren't I? I don't go to bars. I'm just staying at home. I'm a homely boy. I like my wife and the future comforts of being home and a steady Eddie, if you like. I'm sort of always on the same plane. Some people call it boring, but it's my life, and that's the way I want to live it. I don't need to go to bars. I don't need to be entertained. I'm never bored. I've always got something to do. I've always got many interests. So, no. Maybe that's why I've only got 10,000. Maybe that's why I've only got 10,000 subscribers, because I don't fit everybody's lifestyle. Maybe it's the 10,000 people that my subscribers are all boring and steady Eddies like me. Oh, let's have a look. Okay. Les, will you buy a condo in Pattaya for an investment? I know the option of renting is much safer, but thinking of the long term. No, my own personal opinion is the bubble will burst in Pattaya. You have flies about. You have so much competition in Pattaya for rental. Rental is so cheap in Pattaya now. So as an investment or return of money, you know, if you want to buy it to live in it, fine. But if you want to buy it and rent it out and make money on it, and technically, you cannot rent it out without a work permit either. So there's not so many options for it. And I would say no, don't buy in Pattaya because it will bite you back in the bum, because you're not going to make much money on it at all. Horse racing in Chiang Mai. Oh, there you go. A few years back, I think it was on a military base. Oh, well, there you go. Formal buff. Yeah, they do have gambling here. Why not just go back to the UK? I couldn't afford to go back to the UK for 6 months. It was very expensive for 9 weeks, and I stayed free at my sister's house on the sofa. And I still spent more money in England, and I'm trying to be frugal, waiting for my time to come back to Thailand. Frank travels 10,000 quality subscribers. That's true. It's completely true. Yeah. Thanks very much for that. Okay, I lost my thought now. Thanks for your supply, Barry. Do you support Middlesbrough lads? No, again, I'm not a footballer. I'll tell you a funny story about Middlesbrough Football Club, though. during my term in the fire brigade, we used to do a program for young drivers, and of course the young footballers at Middlesbrough Football Club, they all had the good cars, because even an apprentice footballer is on a good salary at the Middlesbrough Football Club. And because I didn't follow Middlesbrough, I have no idea who the players were or who the manager was and things like that. But I was picked to go and do a session at Middlesbrough Football Club training ground. So two of the other lads that were with me are staunch Middlesbrough football fans, and they were so excited about going. And said, "Oh, are we going to see this and that?" And I was just like, no idea who they are. And we got in the car park, and at the time, Ekiog, a guy called Ekiog, worked for him, and he had a massive big car with big silver wheels. Oh, that's Ekiog. That's Ekiog. Who's Ekiog? Never heard of him. Steve McLaren, we've seen Steve McLaren there, and the two guys were sort of starstruck because there was some top class Middlesbrough football players there, and it for me just went over my head. And like Dave McLaren, Steve McLaren, or wherever he was, McLaren, I think it was. I might have even got the name wrong, I don't know. But he came along and somebody introduced. Oh, he said, "I'm the manager." Oh, okay. Oh, well done. He said, "I'd like to thank you for doing the presentation," things like that. But no idea who the footballers were. Is it hypocritical how they pushes the lottery tickets in Thailand but don't legalize gambling? Casinos can bring a fortune to... Yeah. Do you know something? Even at funerals, I only found this out because we went to a funeral. Gambling goes on. At every single funeral, gambling goes on and cards are played. And the police attend the funerals knowing gambling is going on, to take their little brown envelopes, because they know it goes on, and everybody gives a little bit of brown envelope payments to allow the gambling to go on. Every funeral. Yeah, more tea money. So yeah, gambling, you know, I've seen them like the poker machines, slot machines. They had one in a taxi office, totally illegal. The ban, they shouldn't be here, but they had one in a taxi office, which was supplied by some professionals, if I put it that way, and who took a share of it. And all the Thai guys, because I ran the coffee shop right opposite, the money that would put into there. And some of the wives came and complained about it because it took the whole monthly salary. So they had no money to live on because the husband gambled it away in the poker machines. No, it goes on. It's like everything else here. You know, sometimes it's overlooked, sometimes it isn't. And but that's the way of Thailand, isn't it? Yeah, cockfighting, totally legal, but it goes on. Thai boxing, again, the gambling goes. Officially, it's again not supposed to gamble on it, but they do. Tic Tac, yeah. That's what I'm saying. It goes on, but people close their eyes to it. Maybe it's McLaren was the cat. Yeah. Maybe it's. I don't know. Again, I don't know who the football manager was, but no idea who they were. Janino was there as well, and boy, did he cause some problem, Janino, when we were there, because apparently he got a young girl pregnant, and there was a big scandal because Janino did this, and them are the only two, Ekiog and Janino. Them are the only two I can really remember. Hi, Les from Riot. I'm from Bolton, and the Wanderers just lost at Wembley in the playoffs. Oh, well, sad to hear. If you follow football, I'm sure, you know, many a good battle has been won and lost at Wembley. Well, thankfully, I was never into football again, because that's just another expensive thing to go and watch. The one and only time I went to see a football match is when I was 17, and that was watching Middlesbrough play Wolves. It's funny how some things stick in your mind, isn't it? I was doing a bit of acting at a theatre, and we'd had a good night out on the Friday. And Friday night, I was staying at a friend's house, and they were into football. And they said, "Oh, do you want to come football match with us?" I was 17-year-old, and I thought, "Oh, well, I've never been to a football match." Okay, and it was Middlesbrough against Wolves, and I was happy when the game finished and we left. So I've never been a football fan, never ever. So yeah, but I like me sports. I like paragliding. I used to do paragliding. I was a paraglide pilot, and I flew a stunt plane in New Zealand. I love that. That was a 15-minute, 270 pound. But I like the thrill of it, being in a stunt plane. I've been in a glider. I used to do scuba diving. So I've done a fair few things. Hot air ballooning, stuff like that. But sports, rugby, I like rugby at school, but that was about it. I like how Vietnam does it. Vietnam have hotel, casino, resorts for the foreigners only. Vietnamese citizens aren't allowed to the gambling. Well, that's the same as Singapore. They're trying to discourage people from gambling and also from having a car. So they impose big taxes on cars and casinos in Singapore, and it works. The Chinese have got their hands in everywhere, and I think once the Chinese get established here in Thailand, that's when things will start changing for the worse, maybe. But at the minute, I think it's the best. With what's going on, I mean, the Ruskies are causing a little bit of bother in Phuket with their illegal working and the companies, and the Thai government are sort of clamping down on it, and so they should, because the Ruskies have been getting away with it for quite some time. It's like everything else. A good thing can be, there's lots of complaints about house prices going up, rentals going up, cost of food and everything else is going up in Phuket. So that's going to drive, the ordinary working people away from there. And the Thais can't even afford to open up restaurants now, and the Thais can't afford to rent the house, because everything that's cheap was already gone. And that situation will go on as long as the situation goes on with the two people that are fighting each other, shall I say. You can't say too much on YouTube, otherwise you get demonetized and shut down. So we all know what's going on around the world, and that's going to have an impact on Thailand, because the Ruskies have bought lots and lots of properties and investment and spend all the money, and they are washing their money over here as well. So they've got their own washing machines over here. So again, that's what the Thais will clamp down on, the washing machines and how they wash their own money here, and lots of it. Yeah, acting in theatre, you kept that. Yeah, I was in a couple of plays as a young actor, but it was only a couple, and then I got more interested in other ventures type of thing. But I enjoyed it. It was good. I had to sing a song, but I'm not good at singing. I had to sing one song, and that was awful. I felt embarrassed singing because I couldn't sing. Yeah, talking about casinos here, but they'll wait and see. Motorized gliding flights over patio. I mean, at the back of us, we have a skydive, parachuting, and that's probably about 15 flights a day. And I did a video on that, and that's about 15,000 baht to do a parachute jump from 13,000 feet. They strap you to an instructor, and then you jump out of the airplane. And then if you want somebody who films as you're coming down and films you as you're landing, that's about 3,000 or 4,000 baht. So that one jump can cost you at least 20,000 baht. A thrill seeker's thing to do. I jumped out of an airplane again when I was young on a parachute, because one of my officers in the fire brigade. He had his own parachute display team. So he took us out one day and we all did a parachute jump. I only did it the once and hurt my neck, so I never did it again. But paragliding, I love paragliding. I did that as a well, in my 30s, 35 to 40s. And I enjoyed that, but that took 2 years to get my pilot's license to be able to do that. Many an hour sat on the hills in Cumbria, the Lake District, waiting for the wind to blow in the right direction. So yeah, I've done many things. I've done many things in life. Yeah, they started to build casinos and apartment blocks in Sinukville. Yeah, apparently there's 70 more applications gone in for more casinos, only for them to be left abandoned and unfinished. Yeah. Who's your favorite Thai YouTuber, Les? Okay, all right. That's quite a difficult one. There's a few people I watch on here, YouTubers. The ones that I like are Dave from Got to Love Thailand. He does a live stream. He does a lot of live streams up in up north, Surin. We actually met and we hit it off together. We talked like for a house on fire, like for 3 hours, just non-stop talking. Dave's a nice guy, so I watch him occasionally and take part of his live streams. Ben, which I've already said, living in Thailand. Trevor in everything, Buzzing Pattaya, which is Trevor. Nick Dean, I've met Nick a few times, but again, he's sort of a different. I look at his, and sometimes I don't, because it's totally different niche. Them are the 3 or 4 YouTubers that I watch. Yeah, I get lots of suggestions off of the videos, to watch, and I might watch Jay and Ploy. They've been quite good. I've watched them because he's built his house and things like that. And yeah, but once you're a YouTuber, we have our little niches, and I mean, some people, I might get 1,000 or 2,000 people look at one of my videos, and one of the other tubers that I used to follow, I get 15,000 views on a cheap burger in Pattaya, and it's just like, yeah, okay. But people have different tastes. Somebody said to me, have a live stream with Nick Dean. But Nick Dean and mine are two different things. He's in the bar scene and the entertainment business in Pattaya. I'm an old guy living the dream in a little village in the middle of nowhere. So we're sort of poles apart. So, it's not worth me going on with a Nick Dean to have a live stream. Different niches, different people. Les, have you got a local big boss who runs a lottery near you? My wife worked for one where I am for a bit. No, not really. But if you're talking about the other lottery, we know somebody who collects the lottery, who lends people money and they collect their takings every week. We know a couple of them people, but every village has one of them. Gordon Strachan. I don't know him. I've heard the name, Gordon Strachan. Les, there's been recently another skydiving death at Durham Skydiving Club. A professional skydiver, it was a Look North on BBC One a few weeks back. I think it's in or near Peterlee. Oh, it's sad to hear. But the amount of skydiving that goes on next to me is incredible. I went there. I've took a couple of subscribers that will come here, and I've took them there, and they've watched it, and it's incredible to see. Is it exciting? Yes, it is. And there was a Korean family. The guy, the wife, and I think it was 7 or 8 year old son all did it together. And I videoed that, and you watch somebody come down, and yeah, it's an exciting thing to do, But a lot of the people that do it here are Koreans or Chinese, and they get bussed in from Bangkok to here. And then as soon as they do it, away they go back in the buses or the private cars that they've hired. So it's a lot of money, when you're coming from Bangkok to here. It's a 3-hour drive at least, and then you do the parachute jump, and then you go back. And it's like a military operation. When the plane lands, the minute the plane lands, within a minute, 2 minutes, it's taken back off again. And when they drop the people off at 13,000 feet, the plane actually lands on the ground before the last parachutist hits the floor or gets on the floor. So it's done so quick. They have it down to a knack, because I sat and watched them, had a few cups of coffees, and because it was interesting. It was interesting to see. But when the parachutists, they were doing the train, getting rigged, and then they were out next to the plane, in the plane. 20 minutes later, they were jumping, they were landing, all the kit off, photographs taken, see you later, bye-bye, next, and moving. So they have a lot of foreigner instructors. I think I've seen 1 or 2 Thai people, but the majority of them were all foreigners as an instructor. Health and safety is not the top of the agenda here. Be very wary about doing any form of sky. I would slightly disagree with that, because it's the foreigners who are doing it. And when all said and done, it's their life on the line, isn't it? So they will check their equipment, because I agree with some of the other things like motor racing and things like that, and health and hygiene and stuff like that. You can cheat on that, but when you jump out of an airplane, you can't cheat on the equipment that you're using. They will make sure, because of their own health and safety as well. I would say that the foreigners run the skydiving places, not the Thai people. Yeah, everything patio and Thailand bound. With Thailand bound again, I used to watch him, but he's all stories. I take my hat off to the guy. He's got thousands of subscribers for just telling stories. I've told a couple of stories on here, and to be fair, they probably got the most views, because everybody, bad news sells, newspapers. And the bad stories that I've told on here have got me like 60 to 80 to 100, well, not quite 100, between 60 and 80,000 views on some of the stories that I've told on here. And again, the Thailand bound, he just tells stories. Who knows whether they're true or not? You can just you get ChatGPT to write you a sad story, and he'll tell it. And, who are you to say it's false or it isn't? But the guy's done well. The guy's done well with regard to storytelling, and that's good. And everything patio, he never shows his face, but again, he's interesting. I've watched a few of his, and I direct people to him for the gentlemen's clubs. I know a lot about the go-go bars and the bars and everything, and places on Walking Street, if you like, for entertainment, and where you can get entertainment, Soy 6 and things like that. I've got nothing to do with gentlemen's clubs, and no idea what goes on in a gentlemen's club, although I've got a good idea. But if anybody asks me for things like that, we've taken people to soapies, and we've taken people to bars, and we've taken people to go-go dances and things like that. But I always direct them to everything patio with regard to asking the questions on the gentlemen's clubs, because he knows the best ones, and that that's not going to rip you off on that. So when people ask me such questions, I direct them towards everything patio. So yeah, that's good. It works. If I don't know the answer to anything, and I've never failed yet to be able to direct somebody in the right direction to get the right answer that they want, or even I can provide a lot of the answers that people, for the questions that they want to ask. Ed Sweeney, YouTuber, has had to return to UK yesterday following. Yeah, has he actually returned to the UK now? Because somebody said he was in a hospital. Somebody said Nick Dean was looking after him. So I hope Ed, he's not my cup of tea, by the way, but I also wish him a speedy recovery. And as many other people have said also, he should have been in hospital from day one. He shouldn't have actually come out of the hospital. He should have stayed in there and got treatment. There's a guy from Darlington in his 50s or 60s with his own YouTube channel. He posted a video yesterday about Khao Road, Bangkok. He was doing a walk around comparing prices of clothes and food. I've not seen anything about that. Not a guy from Darlington anyway. Richie Parkinson, I've never heard of him. Again, usually what happens is that somebody's live feed or somebody's do a video and it'll come up on under one of my suggestions and I'll watch it. There is a couple of guys that have just came up on my suggestions. And again, the Rocket Traveler, I think it is, he's just come on and I've just subscribed to his channel. And he gets like 10 to 13,000 views on one of his videos, and he's only got 3,500 subscribers. So good luck to the guy. He's just actually moved over to Thailand now. He's sold everything up and he's over here. And I think he had to do a border run, so he went to Laos to do that. But again, I wish him the best of luck. I've subscribed to him, help him along, but he's gonna rocket his channel, excuse the pun. If he's getting 10 to 12,000 views per video that he's doing something right. So good luck to him. If you don't know, you know a man that can have a workaround. Yeah, exactly. There's workarounds to everything here. And it's not difficult. It's like everything else. The simple things work. And the simple things over here are the easiest things to work. And many people have done it, and many people have got away with it. And many people are living their lifestyle over here without using agents and things like that. I must speak personally to people every week with regard to moving here. And I've showed people houses and I've showed people lifestyles. Give suggestions to people. It's like everything else. They either take it or leave it. But knowledge is power. And nobody showed me when I first came over here. I did it myself with a suitcase and a backpack full of clothes, and that was it. And everything I learned by myself. There's nobody like me or the other YouTubers, 12 years ago, were saying, oh, if you do this and you do that and do the other. I've learned by experience, and I've learned by, thankfully, I haven't been burnt too much, but everybody gets burnt when they come to Thailand. And the newbies that come here, they can get burnt also. But the idea of the YouTube channels and that is to tell people to be wary, to be careful, and how to save themselves money. Just a couple of things with the visas and the workarounds, things like that. I can save them thousands and thousands of baht. Knowing the ropes in Pattaya can save thousands and thousands of baht as well. And as I say, we go down to Pattaya sometimes to meet the people that come in off the plane, and we'll show them around, and you only need 1 night or 2 nights with somebody who knows what they're talking about, and then you know what the score is, and you know how to play it, where you're splodging, and you won't get ripped off. Or you still might get ripped off, but not as much as you would do if you turned up here without talking to anybody. Again, a lot of the other tubers do it. Trevor does it. Trevor advises people. Everything Pattaya advises people. So the information is out there. It's just that you've got to ask the questions. And again, like I said to people, who are unsure about it, I do a $10, which I'm the cheapest YouTuber, on a face-to-face chat. I'll give you any information that you want. And if you don't get the information you want, then you don't give me the $10. That's buying me a cup of coffee and that. And there's some other, Thailand Bound, I think he charges £45 for a 30-minute call, and you have to pay him the £45 before you even get an email off him to confirm that that you're going to have a chat. And he's only telling you the same things I'm telling you. I charge you $10 and you don't pay if you don't get the information, where with him you pay 45 quid for 30 minutes and you might get the information and you might not. There's another guy who I won't mention, He charges £500 to spend the day with him. 500 quid to spend the day with this guy. So the information that I give is exactly the same as information as lots of other people give. And I would, blowing my own trumpet here, I can save people thousands of baht for a $10 conversation. But like I say, I probably speak to people every week, and I certainly give information. There is no Patreon on my channel. You don't have to pay for a special members. Everything that I give is free. All the videos are free. There's no special behind the scenes. Everything you see is everything you get. I do have a buy me a coffee, and I do have various ebooks that I sell, and that all helps to support the channel, because equipment does break down. Like my drone, the other day I crashed my drone, so that's 3,000 or 4,000 baht to get my drone fixed. But everything breaks down at one time or another. Licenses and subscriptions that I have to pay for the music, so everything comes at a cost. And I probably make about $100 a month doing this, which isn't a lot of money, is it? But it keeps me busy, it keeps me occupied, and I'm not sat in a bar stool. Richie Rich has 3,280 subscribers. Yeah, Corson Road got 1,000. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, Richie, 3,280, but he gets a lot of subscribers. Yeah, he gets a lot of views on. I mean, so I've seen some videos like 12 and 13,000. I'm thinking, wow, good for him. Didn't Kevin in Thailand help people with information about moving to Pattaya 12 years ago? Yes, he did. He was actually one of the guys that got me started on YouTube. Sadly, he died. He was another one who didn't have medical insurance when he was 59, and his plan was he was going to get medical insurance when he got to 60. But sadly, he got diagnosed with cancer before he got to 60. And the cancer that he got was terminal anyway, so he was going to die from it. So sadly, I mean, Kevin, I like Kevin. I had a few good conversations with Kevin, and but he went back to England and sadly passed away with his illness that he had. But yeah, I like Kevin. He had a lot of good advice, and he was a character as well. He was very funny, and his videos were always entertaining. Les, what do you think of the Thai fire service compared to the English fire service? Oh, yeah, the firefighters, they will do their best to help you in any situation, but they are not 100% trained to the same standard as the Western firefighters. They sort of fight the fire from the outside, where we go in and we rescue people. They have breathing apparatus sets and things like that, but nowhere near to the same standards as the Western firefighters. But I still take my hat off to them, because they're willing to sacrifice whatever it takes to rescue somebody ill-equipped, not with the best equipment. And it's like car accidents. When we used to go to a car accident, it was called stability, where we make the car stable before we even attempted to get anybody out, so not to cause any further injuries. I've seen a few car crashes here in the fire brigade, and the car's rocking all over the place, and they're trying to pull everybody out, and they haven't got the proper fire kit on. So for health and safety, for their own safety, it's just, but they are there, they're doing a job, and it's better than nobody doing it, isn't it? But sadly, the fire service here is a lot worse than it is in the UK. That's why on a couple of my videos that I've done with regard to the electrics in Thailand, where you need smoke detectors, they're only like 300 or 400 baht over here. That's going to save your life. So I've just bought 3 new smoke detectors, and as smoke detectors are even there, they've got their own apps now. So we're going to have 3 smoke detectors in our house, in the living room, in the bedroom, and in the little cupboard where I'm going to put me new solar equipment. So everything's in there. And if one of the smoke detector goes off, it sets them all off, and it even vibrates the little app on the phone. And for 3 of them, it's 560 baht for 3 smoke detectors. That's for 3 smoke detectors with their own app. Crazily cheap. So again, I would say get a smoke detector, protect your own life and your family's life for less than a tenner. Thumbs up to you. Thanks very much. Talking of thumb, we've got 65 thumbs up and 82 people in. So for all those people who give us a thumb up, thanks very much. It all helps the YouTube algorithm. As every YouTuber says, the algorithm helps to promote the videos and pushes it out to other people. Do your breakdown when you see Chuck is online. He has lots of questions. No problem. Anybody can ask as many questions as you want. That's what I'm here for. This is what the channel is. And Les living in Thailand, ask any questions you want. And I mean any questions you want. If anybody's got any difficult questions, ask the difficult questions. I'm here to answer them all. And that's the good thing about when I do the face-to-face calls, because then you can ask whatever questions you want, no matter how they are, with regard to, ladies, internet dating, the clubs, the go-go bars, the soapies, things like that. And if you ask me the question, I'll come up with the answers, and I'll tell you exactly what the score is. So forearmed is forewarned, isn't it? Or forewarned is forearmed, something like that. But many guys we've taken around Pattaya, and my wife comes with me as well, and we go into a soapy, or we go into one of the bars or the go-go bars, and we ask the nitty-gritty questions as to how much it is and things like that. So you actually get it. Nobody else says, oh, it's 100 baht for this or 300 baht for that. We're actually in there, and you see it with your own eyes. And once you've seen how it works with your own eyes, it's a lot simpler to go in yourself. The good thing about over here is, compared to Prague and Budapest, where you get 40, you walk into one of the go-go bars, and next thing you're given a bill for 40 or 50 quid for 2 pints of beer, which some friends of mine did in Prague, and they came running out of the club, 45 quid, I think it was, for 2 beers, and the bouncers came running after them to get the money, because they just ran off without paying, and they were threatened, we're getting beaten up if they didn't pay the money. Whereas over here, Thailand and Pattaya, that just doesn't happen. I've never been threatened anywhere or had any bad experiences in Pattaya in the 12 years that I've been living here. Never, not one. Another great YouTuber for advice on scams, retirement, cost of living, etc. is the Canadian guy. His channel is called Well, Hello There. He makes me laugh. I've never seen that. Well, hello there. When you say a Canadian guy, I thought it was going to be Chris from Retired and Working for You. Chris is a good entertainer as well, and he's got lots of subscribers, and he gives out some really, really good information. Unsubscribe from Trevor when he chose option number 3 in answer to what do you find the girl in your bed as an extra appendage. How's your neighborhood? Is it friendly? Much to do? No, there's not a lot to do around here. There's probably 2 bars that are close here. We've got nice restaurants and things like that. But what we do for entertainment, we have a group of friends, and we go around their house, socialize, and they'll come around our house. And that's how we live. And sometimes when we go on a holiday, there's a group of us, like when we went to Kokut, there was a group of 6 of us, and we go as a group. Every week we have our brunch club, and we have many talks and chats there, put the world to rights. So we quite live a sociable life, but not in the bars or the clubs. And occasionally we'll go down to Pattaya and let our hair down because we like the live music. I don't drink and drive. So because everywhere around where we live, you have to drive everywhere. So I don't drink. So when I go to patio, we'll park the car up and we'll usually go and flip a house or flip a lodge on size 7. Park the car up and everywhere is walking distance, which is brilliant because then I can have a few beers without, saying I have to drive anywhere. But a couple of other times when we go to functions and events, somebody's birthday party and they're having it at a bar or a restaurant or something, we'll rent a room for between 500 and 800 baht for the night. So then I'll park the car up and it's walking distance from the hotel or the restaurant where we're going to. And, then I can have a few beers and I'll stay in the hotel, get up in the morning, have breakfast and then come home. Never, ever drink and drive over here. Even though there are many people who do it, because the chances of getting caught by the police is slim to none. And that's why a lot of people do drink and drive over here. But that's one of my pet hates, people who do drink and drive. Yeah, so the neighborhood's very friendly. Everybody gets on well here. Everybody says hello. Everybody says hi, friendly. No crime in the village. I'll tell a lie. Somebody stole a bunch of bananas about 3 or 4 years ago. That's probably the biggest crime that's happened in our village in the past 8 years that we've been here. Somebody stole a couple of bunches of bananas. And the police recovered them. They were still in the boot of the car. Various people had CCTV, including us, of the car stopping, so they knew what time the car stopped. Lights went off. Lights went on a minute and a half later, and off the car went. So the police just traced it back to various other CCTVs and caught the culprits the following day. And the banana gate was over and done with the following morning because the bananas were still in the trunk of the car. Les, it is obvious to you to your viewers that you are a stand-up guy. I am. I live by principles, morals, and scruples, and that's the way I go. Do good to others and don't do anything bad. I don't have any bad feelings towards anybody. What's happened in the past has happened in the past. Filling your head full of anger and aggression, it doesn't do you any good. Just walk away from it. You can't do anything about the past, but you can do many things about your future. And I believe in making your own future. You can make things happen if you want to make things happen. But sometimes you've got to put the spade work into it as well. It just doesn't happen by itself. I traveled the world for 2 years before I decided if anything went Petong, Thailand was going to be the place. And I've not been disappointed. Lived here for 12 years and I love it here. And I wouldn't wish to move anywhere else. It's not everybody's cup of tea, Thailand, but it's my cup of tea and I like it here. Thanks very much, Austin, for saying that. Thumbs up, mate. Thanks very much. What most people don't know is that Kev in Thailand started his channel because he was inspired by Rob. 20 Seconds in Thailand channel. Rob is inspired by Sunny. I've watched Rob and I've watched Sunny. There was a few things that went on with him and Twitchy. Twitchy was just a crazy guy. But yeah, a lot of bad press went on with them three guys. Again, Sunny, whether Sunny's still around or not, I don't know. I've seen Rob every now and then, But again, it's different niches, different parts of the country. Why don't you just take a taxi from Rayong to Pattaya? The cities are next to each other. It's still an hour and a half away from Rayong, where I live, into Pattaya. And why take a taxi? It's much cheaper to go buy my own car and then park the car at the hotel. I have to learn that forgiveness is important for my peace of mind. People do change and grow as they get older with time. Exactly. I've got no bad feelings for anybody. Again, I was hung, drawn and quartered by my ex-wives, and it was a monetary value and it made me go bankrupt. And it was the lowest time in my life caused by my second wife, who had nothing when I met her. She had 2 suitcases full of clothes when I met her, and she lived in a shared house in a room in a shared house. So she had nothing. But when we got divorced, she had maintenance for 15 years. She got the £130,000 house with a £30,000 mortgage. And I ended up going through bankrupt. So how unfair and how unjust is that? But do I care about it? No, I don't. And my final words to her was, you know, if I couldn't make you happy, I'm sorry. So go and find somebody that makes you happy and have a good life. And she's hated me from that because she expected me to be full of anger and aggression towards her. And I said, what's the point of being angry? I said, it's over and done with now. Divorce is done. Move on with your life, as I am going to do. Move on with my life. And then sadly, she poisoned my kids' mind against me. So now my kids don't speak to me because they've been poisoned by the mother, who was jealous and angry at the fact that I turned around from being bankrupt up to where I'm living now. And I travel the world. I retired at 50. And I'm 64 this year. She's 61. So she still got another 6 years to work. And I've been retired now for 14 years. So when all's said and done, I went through the hard times, but I've struggled from it, and I've got to the position where I am now. And I've been retired for 14 years. And that one big thing that actually cheesed her off, because she thought she won everything when she got the house. But what she didn't realize is that when she got the house, I kept my pension, and I knew I could live anywhere in the world on my pension. So look at the bigger picture for those people who are going through the divorce or a bad time at the minute. Always look at the big picture. Don't look at what's going on now, because you can make things happen for a better reason, and by just planning and picking and choosing and looking at the big picture. I do agree that, you know, at the minute, everybody's in that deepest, darkest black hole and they can't see anything, you know, that's going on into the future. But believe you me, once you get all of them things out the road, your life can change around. But it's hard. It's not easy. But I've been there, recovering from bankruptcy, living in a poxy little crappy bedsit. And my wife or ex-wife loved it when I told her where I lived, because she said, "No, you're living there now," and she's living in the house that I bought. Yeah, but I'm living here in Thailand now, and I've been living here for 12 years. I've traveled the world for 2 years. She still has to work 15 or 16 hours a week to be able to pay for everything, and she can't retire until she's 67. So I did a video about that. I lost everything, or did I? And that goes, so have a look at that video. That's quite an inspiring video for those people who are going through a hard time. That's what I'm saying. My channel is about a bit of everything. Divorce, you know, financial, going through bankruptcy, how I turned bankruptcy into a positive thing, because at the time it's a negative thing, but you can turn a negative into a positive. And I did that. Les, I went into a dodgy Russian club in 2019 on Walking Street patio. I went and sat down at the entrance next to the Mama-san. I bought an expensive bottle of beer. Cheers. Yeah, again, okay. The Ruskies are totally different people. They're change the rules type of thing, and I would never go into a Rusky run establishment for that type of thing. I don't like Walking Street anyway. There's so many better options than Walking Street is just a tourist attraction. You can get exactly what you want everywhere else in Pattaya for a quarter of the price. I got Google Translate on my phone to set to translation from English to Russian. Told her not to come. She denied she was with the mafia. Well, she's never going to say I was with the mafia. Yeah, the Ruskies are a different breed of people. Stay away from them. I looked at a condominium. There was somebody who wanted to buy a condominium in Jomtien, and we had a look around, and it was a beautiful Russian lady showed us around it, and I've got to say it was crap, absolutely crap. But they were saying, "Oh, I lived here for 2 years and I love this place, like, you know, blah, 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 blah. It's the best place to be." And we walked in it. It's like curb appeal and none whatsoever. And it was the quickest viewing we've ever done. You open the bathroom door and it just absolutely stank. So they didn't even do any preparation for it to view the place. The paint had come off the walls. You know, I was just horrible. And that was a Russian estate agency. So yeah, keep away from the Ruskies. Let the Ruskies deal with the Ruskies. You're never going to get a bargain with the Ruskies anyway. She let me leave, so again, the next evening she wanted me to go back in. I just smiled at her and walked away. Yeah, I'm not thinking the Ruskies, for the ladies of the night, you'll pay a lot more than you would do for the Thai girl, and you'll get the same service and a better service probably from the Thai girl as you do from the Ruskies. Dark Brother, good night and good luck, boys. It's in my bedtime house. Okay, thanks very much for joining us. We've been here, 3 hours now. Wow, 3 hours. It's just gone by like that. 3 hours. Crazy. I've got a lot to say, and not a lot of people have asked many questions. So, so thanks very much for sticking in. We've still got 90 people in the house, so 90 people are still interested. Thanks very much, and 80 likes, which is good. Yeah, Les saw your relationship videos and I enjoyed them. Yeah, again, I've got nothing to hide, you see, and basically what I don't lie, so I only have to tell one story. So it's always the same story. Have I had some bad relationships here in Thailand? Yeah, of course I have. I did the video about living with a violent Thai girlfriend. Now she changed after she had the operation, but she had cancer. Now, again, I paid for a medical insurance. So her operation was about 150,000 baht, was paid for by the medical insurance. And that probably saved her life. But by having the operation, it changed her mentally. And she turned into a very, very violent and aggressive girl, sadly. And we had a lot of problems with that. And, you know, consequently, the relationship finished because she attacked me 3 times with a meat cleaver. And the 3rd time was enough. And I said, no, enough. But we went to the doctors to get some help, see what was wrong, why she changed into this psychotic woman. But to look at her, butter wouldn't melt in her mouth. And everybody said, no, she can't do that. And I was covered in blood. And I used to go to the police station and say, listen, come and sort this out, because we only lived around the corner from the police station. And she used to obviously tell them in Thai that I beat her up and I was a bad person. But I was one covered in blood and she didn't have a mark on her. So do you think the police believed her? And it was all my stuff that was smashed up. Why would I smash my own stuff up? So the police just said to me, do you want me to lock her up? I said, I don't want you to lock her up. I said, just want you to tell her to stop. So anyway, for that was that. I've been out with everybody. I've been out with bar girls. I've been out with the girls that were working for a living. I've been out with girls, met girls on the internet. So I've done it all. And for those guys that talking to people on the internet, I've got an ebook for talking to girls on the internet and what to look out for and be careful. Again, that's on the link down below. If anybody wants to have a look at that ebook, it's $3. It might save her an absolute fortune. But again, this was, I went out with a girl that I met on the internet 9 years ago now. 9 years ago. Lovely girl. She was a language school teacher. She used to teach Cambodians English, and I met her on the internet. And when I was talking to her, she was getting about 150 emails a week. This is like 9 years ago. So boy, it's going to be much, much more than 150 emails a week now. So that's what I'm saying. Be careful about internet dating. You know, they can promise you everything. And again, another little scam. What one guy said to me, this girl's different. She actually asked for my address so she could send me a birthday present. And I said to the guy, I said, well, now she knows where you live. She'll have Googled where you live and looked at the area, because this guy was 74. So she's looked at the area to see whether it's worthwhile pursuing him or not, see whether he's a wealthy guy or whether or not, by living in the area. And if he was just living in a small studio or not a very nice area, then she wouldn't have put so much effort. But by saying I'll send you a birthday present, tell me where you live and I'll send you the present, and it's valued at about 1,000 baht. But that 1,000 baht present that she sent to him, she looked at the area where he lived in, and he lived in quite an affluential, upmarket area. So she knew he was worthwhile pursuing because he didn't live in a downtown trodden part of where he lived. So yeah, the girls know every trick in the book to find out where you live, to see whether you're worthwhile pursuing or not. Les, are there shipyards in? Well, not in Redcar, South Bank and Middlesbrough. There's a big river, the River Tees. So there's various shipbuilding projects along there, oil industries and things like that. But yeah, it was quite a productive area, Cleveland. Used to have a steelworks, but that's all gone now. Pleasure listening to you, Les. I'm back in Hua in December for 3 months. Better than Birmingham. I'd say 100% for that, yes. But Birmingham has its nice areas. Always much appreciated, Les. Thanks very much, Norman. Paul asks, thanks, Les. Off for dinner now. Oh, Sunday lunch. Very nice. I can smell the Sunday lunch. I've had my chicken green curry. And what time is it now? Oh, 6 o'clock now. So I'm looking forward to my keto cheesecake, which I made this afternoon. So keto cheesecake. So I have a main meal at 12 o'clock, and then I have my keto dessert at about 6 o'clock. So I'm a little bit late. And then I don't eat anything again now until tomorrow. But the keto diet works for sure. So 18 kilos I lost. And I'm back on my way down now. So I'm back down to 102 kilos with a plan to get to 95. And I might even go for 90. Let's give it a go. See how far we go. So enjoy your dinner. Sunday dinner. I can smell it already. I saw your violent tiger and Thai girlfriend video as well. Scary stuff. Remember you saying that you went into the bar. They wouldn't help you. Yeah, that was across the road from. No. Phone doesn't work. Crazy. Yeah, saw your internet about internet dating, going back to England, video going back to Thailand, videos enjoyed. Yeah, again, I've covered many subjects on here. So it's not just one subject. I cover many. And so my next big thing is the solar. And I've got a couple of videos as well with regard to putting that back door on for ventilation for the house. The magnetic door screen. I think only 670 views or so. Not a lot. I mean, it doesn't interest everybody, doesn't it? I'm having a look at the, putting a mosquito deterrent on your front door. But by goodness, does it help cool that house down? Because now we've got the front door and the back door open. It just gets rid of that hot air. So it's more than just a mosquito net. Anyway, that's all my videos. Same as me backup for the generators. All the videos are out there. There's many different topics. 461 videos I've got. So, when somebody's watched all the 461 videos, then you can say you're up to date. So I've got many videos for people to watch if they want to go back. Is it hard doing keto in Thailand, especially with all those sugars and carbs in their Thai food? It is if you want to go and eat in a restaurant. What I do, the thing is, okay, let's go around. This will be quite expansive, this one. But majority of guys over here get sick of Thai food and they want to eat foreigner food. And if you're overweight and you want to eat foreigner food, then do a keto diet. Because the keto diet, I eat Indian, I eat Thai, I eat English. So there's all of them. There's such a wide variety of food that you can eat on the keto diet. And it's like Western food. So you cook it yourself. And what I do, I do a batch. So I've got enough food for a week. So I just eat one meal a day and I take it out the microwave when I get up 8 o'clock in the morning. and by lunchtime it's defrosted. I just warm it back up again. So that's me one meal a day. And many people are going to say, well, aren't you hungry? And that's the beauty of the keto diet. You don't feel okay the first week and a half. It's like any diet. You miss it and you feel it. But after a week and a half or so, you could easily even skip that meal and you wouldn't feel hungry. But the way that I do it is the fasting. So from 6 o'clock on the evening until 12 o'clock the following day, I don't eat anything at all. And I have the 0-calorie drinks and things like that. So I don't have any sugar spikes. And I have my coffee in the morning, but I don't have any sugar with that also. So that all helps. And it's such an easy diet to lose the weight, especially once you get over that first week and a half. You can cook your own food. Eating out in a restaurant is very, very difficult. So what I do, I have a tuna salad. When I go to a restaurant or something like that, I'll always ask for a tuna salad, because that's probably one of the only things they don't put sugar in. But everything else is laden with sugar. My wife cooks, and when she cooks the meal, like does a green curry or pad kaprao, then she puts my 0-calorie sugars in, little sugar sticks. So she puts that in. So she even cooks on 2 separate pans her meal, and she puts the natural sugar in, and mine with a 0-calorie sugars. So yeah, it can be difficult in Thailand, but it's also good, because if you cook the meals at home, you're only going to eat once a day anyway. So then you can batch cook all your meals, and you can eat Indian, Italian, many different varieties of food. Swedish meatballs, creamy meatballs is just lovely. Very, very nice. So my dessert tonight is called keto cheesecake fluff. And what it is, it's whipped cream and Philadelphia cheese with a little bit of 0-calorie sugar, a little bit of lemon, and a little bit of vanilla essence. And it's absolutely to die for. It's beautiful. And I look forward to it. And you can make it in 6 or 7 minutes. It's so easy to make. But yeah, the keto diet for the guys that are living in Thailand, do it. You won't regret it, because now you're eating and losing weight, and you're eating the food that you want to eat. Easy peasy. Yeah, thanks very much for watching the videos and going back to England, going back to Thailand. Yeah, I was there for 9 weeks, and I was sick for 3 weeks of the 9 weeks. And since I stepped off the plane in Bangkok, I've never been ill for 1.5 years. Touch wood. And I hope I'm as healthy as I am now in another year's time. Les, my father worked in Redcar in the 80s. He was a paint inspector in the shipyards. Not sure what he was doing in Redcar, but he worked in yards on Tees, Tyne, Scotland, Cornwall. Yeah, paint inspector. I used to say to people, when I worked for the Prince's Trust about getting a job and traveling the world, you can become a labourer on a merchant ship and you travel the world. So just because you're a labourer, working in a place in England, then you can just be stuck to England. But if you're going to be a labourer, work on a ship, on a merchant ship, you travel all over the world doing that. There's so many options. It's just about looking outside of the box and seeing what your options are. And as a young person, wow, the options are so many if you want to do it. Yeah. Yes, I like it a lot too. I lost 12 kilos in 12 weeks doing keto. But when I see Thailand foods, I think that would be hard for me to maintain once I live there. Yeah. I mean, as I said, it can be difficult. I love the Thai food as well. I've always yo-yoed with my weight. I've always gone up and gone down. And it's just a sad fact of reality that I put weight on. I just look at a cream cake and I put weight on. But I love the cream cake. And I'll go back on the keto diet once I've had my sins and I've eaten the cream cake and I put the weight on, and eventually I'll go back on keto, because I know very well by the keto I can lose the weight no problem. And that's what I do. That's my penance. I don't do any exercise. So I just eat whatever I want to eat, but I pay the penalty and I pay the price eventually. And now I'll get to a trigger point, and it's usually 105 kilos, and I like hovering around about 100, but I went up to 108. So that was like far beyond, 3 kilos beyond my trigger point, because we've been entertained with other people and they bought food for us and parties and birthday parties and things like that. And I paid the price. But now I've got nothing planned between now and July the 2nd, which is my birthday. So a good 6 to 8 weeks of being on the keto diet. And once I'm in, like now, I'm into it now, I don't even feel hungry. And I've had one meal a day. And that's the way I go. So for some people it works, for some people it doesn't. I've tried many, many diets. And for me, the keto diet works. What do you think about the Honda Wave 125? I know you're interested in the motorcycles, motorbikes. And do you think the Index brand helmets are any good? What brand do you have on your helmet? I don't know what the brand is, but I've had that for 10 years now. And again, my Thai girlfriend smashed that on the floor, so it's got a little crack on it, but it's okay. The Index helmet, I don't know. I don't plan on having a big crash. And my scooter, if we go 40 or 50 kilometers an hour, you know, you can basically fall off it and just stand up, because we don't go very fast at all. If you've got a super bike and you intend to go like 90 to 100 odd kilometers, then you need a good helmet. But for just pottering around town and, you know, putting about, an Index helmet is good enough. In fact, I'm going to, next month, that's one of my purchases, is an Index, a white helmet, full face. Because it's white and my motorbike's white, I'm going to put Retired and Living the Dream stickers on my helmet, and a couple of stickers. I'm getting them made to put on my motorbike. So I would say the Index one, 1,270 baht for a full face, large Index helmet. The Honda Wave, I have no idea about, because I just do the twist and goes. You know, the Honda Wave is like a semi-automatic with gears type of thing. And to be honest, I've never driven a Honda Wave here in Thailand. I've always gone for the twist and go. And if somebody gives me a Honda Wave, I wouldn't know how to ride it. I suppose I should learn. It's not difficult. Apparently, there's no clutch anyway. You just turn off the accelerator, change gears, and then away you go. So it's like a semi-automatic. But I love the twist and goes. The Honda Click that I've got, the 160, is a beautiful bike. Again, the Honda Click that I had that for 9 years, and I sold it, and it just looked like new when I sold it. And that only had, I think, about 13,000 kilometers on it. But they just go forever, the motorbikes over here. 130, 140 baht for an oil change every couple of thousand, although the book says every 4,000. I used to do it every 2,000. Look after it, and it's going to look after you. But yeah, any motorbike in Thailand is a good motorbike. Thanks for clearing that out. Good. Hi, Les. Is the keto diet where you don't eat any carbs, can eat meats, fish, eggs? Exactly. You know, you don't eat any, or you're allowed, I think, 50 carbs a day. But what I've got on my, on the description below, I've got to buy me a coffee and various links to living in Thailand, things like that. And tomorrow I'm going to put some of these on. The Ketogenic is a lifestyle, not a diet. These are the books that I've got and that I used, and I'm allowed to sell these books because I bought the private license rights from them. And like ingredients, 5 keto cookbook and 30-minute keto meals. All these will be on my description by the end of tomorrow. And I've just bought an air fryer, the keto air fryer cookbook. It's just so easy to do. The keto diet, it's so easy to do. And I had a slow cooker, and I cooked 2 lots of meals there. And you get 4 meals in the cook pot, so you just freeze them. So that's 4 days meals in the freezer, 2 days, and that you've got a week. for doing a couple of hours work. And it's so simple. The lemon chicken, so simple to do. And the green curry one that I did, again, so simple to do. The air fryer, yesterday we had pork. Took 30 minutes to do. And my wife put some of the fish oil on it and stuff like that. Sesame oil thing. And it's just like, wow, it's just so nice. 30 minutes. And again, you can do that. You can do a batch of it and then freeze it and then warm it up again the following day to, get your salads and stuff like that. The salad stuff over here is dirt cheap. Wok fry your salads in coconut oil or olive oil. The keto diet over here, if you do it yourself, is simple to do. And it's just like eating Western food again, because Thai food, I only have 5 or 6 different Thai meals that I eat. But it's so nice when you get to the Western, like the creamy meatballs. They taste, if you like the IKEA meatballs with the creamy sauce, it tastes just like the IKEA meatballs with the creamy sauce. And that's every time we go to IKEA, I always get that anyway. So to make your own meatballs like that, that's brilliant. It tastes lovely. And with your stir-fried, wok-fried vegetables, it's lovely. And the keto desserts that you're allowed, it's never ending. It's absolutely never ending. You will never ever go hungry on the keto diet. You'll never ever be short of what you can eat and what you can't eat. Bread is probably my favorite and my weakest, because I love bread. And I've not found a keto recipe yet for nice bread, but I've found a couple of ketos and keto breads, flatbreads and things like that, and rotis, keto rotis. I'm going to give them a try next week. So again, it serves 2 purposes if you're living in Thailand. One, you can eat your Thai food, you can eat your Western food, should say, and you're going to lose weight by doing it as well. So keto is the way to go. I don't like eggs, and I'm not a big fish eater either, or eggs. So there are still plenty of foods that you can eat without fish or eggs. Tuna fish, I like tuna fish. Tuna fish is good for you. Hello, Les. I used to do the Atkins, very simple to the keto, never hungry. Lost loads, get energy back after a few weeks. Booking a few night holds with the wife in Pattaya and Wahin. Koh Lan is Koh Lan worth a trip? I've never been to Koh Lan, so I don't know about that. But again, a few weeks, you're going to enjoy it. That is for sure. Pattaya, your wife might feel intimidated in Pattaya. Most of the guys that I know that have took the wives to Pattaya have sort of regretted it, because with that much beauty around, unless the lady is happy with her body style and everything else, I like people watching, and basically what you see is that the guys are walking down the street and the wife will walk behind them, and the wives are looking at where the husband is looking. And let's face it, there's that much beautiful girls in Pattaya, you can't help but look. But the girls are looking at you, looking at the other girls. And I've found that majority of women don't like Pattaya because they feel intimidated. Anyway, that's just my own personal feeling with that one. But all the other places, Wahin's beautiful. She'll like Wahin. But Pattaya, if you can avoid Pattaya, I'd avoid Pattaya. Honda Wave is a twist and go. Oh, is it? I thought it had gears, the Honda Wave. It's got a little... Your right foot has got the brake and the left one has got the gear movements, as far as I remember. Motorcycle helmets must be replaced at least every 4 years. Any cracks, replace it. It is useless. Yeah, if you're going to come off it at a fair lick, I agree with you. But I like my helmet. And I've always liked it. But it's getting to that stage now. And next month, 1,170 baht, and I'll have a new Index full face helmet that I can put me Retired and Living the Dream stickers on. So yeah, next month it will be replaced. been riding for 50 years. Now, I had a big motorbike accident when I was 17. A drunk driver turned in front of us and I hit his car and I was knocked off the motorbike and I was knocked unconscious, and I regained consciousness once they put me back in the ambulance. And I never drove a motorcycle again for from 17 up until I was when I came here. I was 52 and I bought my motorcycle in Pattaya, and it was a twist and go. So from being 17 to being 52 years old, not 50, 52-year-old, and then I rode a motorbike in Pattaya of all places. And touch wood, I've never ever had an accident because I drive slow. And if you drive slow, you've got reaction time. But it's the other people, the other idiots on the road that might cause your accident. So yeah, drive slowly, 40 to 50 kilometers an hour. I don't think I've never had this motorbike up to its maximum, like 40 or 50. That's fast enough for me. I'm a little toot along, like driving Miss Daisy when I drive the motorbike. And same with the car. I never go fast. Never had a speeding ticket, ever. In England or in Thailand. And that's hard to say, that you never get a speeding ticket in England now. There's cameras everywhere. Yeah, you could have a hobby creating those keto dishes. I'm sure there will be a market for keto food. If you did the frozen foods and you sent out the keto, because everybody's lazy, and whether I get an interest, if anybody wanted to buy keto meals off me, they're easy to make, and postage in Thailand to get it frozen and delivered to your own house isn't expensive. But keto food, keto restaurants in Pattaya are expensive. But making keto food yourself is ridiculously cheap. 0 calorie sugar. Only heard bad things. Do you eat fruit? Are you just cutting processed sugar from your life? I have 0 calorie Coke, 0 calorie green, 0 calorie Sprite, 0 calorie soda, 0 calorie everything. And I've also heard the bad things about the 0 calorie. But is it more unhealthy to lose the weight and not have the excess fat around your heart and your clogging up of your arteries than 0 calorie sugar? There's swings and roundabouts for everything. And I like the 0 calorie drinks. There's some bad things that they're saying about the 0 calorie that they're putting into it. But when all said and done, there's got to be food protection people who look at all of these type of things. And for me to put it in, if it was dangerous, they wouldn't allow it, but they do allow it. So I'll take that little part of not good, in the 0 calorie sugar stuff, than being overweight. And I would sooner be skinnier than overweight. And if it means having the false sugars, well, I'll take that risk. Because I'm going to die one day. Nobody dies healthy. Liz, I'm 51, had not been abroad for years. It was March 2017. I missed my EasyJet flight to Malaga, Spain. I ended up in Amsterdam for 2 days. And I got a flight to Moscow, then Bangkok. Oh, wow. From missing the flight, you certainly traveled around a bit. Never been to Moscow. I've never been to Amsterdam. I've been to Malaga and Spain many times. But yeah, I traveled the world for 2 years and I loved it. When I got to 50, I spent a year traveling around the world and then another year traveling around Europe. So I loved every minute of it. And Thailand, I always knew Thailand, when the crap hits the fan, Thailand will be the place I'll come to. And when my Chinese wife decided she didn't want to travel the world anymore, she wanted to go back to work in the coffee shop that I met, the coffee shop that she worked in, and she wanted to move back in the apartment what she lived in Redcar. And I said, well, I don't want that. So that's when we split. And that was it. Away we went. I came to Thailand. She went back to Redcar. And I have no idea what she's up to because I don't follow any of my ex-partners. I just hope she has a happy life and finds the person that wants to be with her. But I spent 2-3 years with her going around the world. I'm a bit over it. No, I'm not. I spent a lot of money on her over the 2 years. But it's better to say to somebody, isn't that looking like Grand Canyon? Isn't that wonderful? Than being there on my own and saying, isn't that wonderful, Les? So we had our good times and we had our bad times. But when all said, I'm not bitter, I'm not angry. I shared it with somebody else. And when all said and done, that's her life experience as well. And I almost 100% would think nobody would ever do that again with her. So I give somebody an experience in life. It cost me, but it cost her as well. So I'm never envious. Just move on, go with the flow, move on, look forward and never look back. Honda Wave 125, step down, best for the price, petrol repairs. Look at the delivery guys and motor taxi drivers. Yeah, again, as I said, taxi drivers use the Honda Wave. Many people use the Honda Wave. And it's what it is. The Chinese woman, Les. Yes, the Chinese woman. She was my third wife. And we traveled the world together. We went around the world together for 2 years. And then she decided she wanted a divorce. We met on a New Year's Eve and she wanted to get divorced on a New Year's Eve because she thought it was fitting. And I was going to take her to London for the firework display. It cost me 600 quid for the hotel for 2 nights. And the ticket to go and see the firework display. And she told me, because she told me on the Boxing Day, because we had a big argument, she said, oh, well, I'll tell you now, she said, I'm going to divorce you on New Year's Eve. She said, because I think it's fit and best to do that, because we met on a New Year's Eve. And I said, you know, I paid 600 quid for the hotel and taken to the firework. And you're going to say, oh, by the way, lads, I want a divorce. Oh, thanks very much. So anyway, she let me know Boxing Day. So I managed to cancel the hotel and I give her all the stuff and I walked out. And that was Boxing Day, and I was in Thailand on New Year's Eve. So how quick was that? From Boxing Day to New Year's Eve, and I was in Thailand. And I've never looked back. Les, have you had any problems with the Wise card? Never had a problem. Never, not one. And I've had it for 10 years. The Chinese woman works in a coffee. Yeah, she used to work in a coffee shop in Redcar. But the last I heard about it, she was manageress of an art gallery in Glasgow. That was the last thing I heard. And that was, well, years and years and years ago. I've no idea what she's up to now. I've no interest in it. She just gets on with her life and I hope she's happy. But yeah, you know, that was good for her. I spent £45,000 in a 2-year trip, and she paid £1,800 of that. So she had a good 2 years holiday, didn't she? For, you know, and she never gave me a penny back, but she stole £2,500 out of my account, which she said I owed her. Even though I paid for her flights and I paid for her to take her driving tests in England. And because she failed it, I paid for her for a flight from France, because we were living in France at the time. Paid for a flight for her and a hotel to go and take a driving lesson. And she failed again. So I did the same again. So 3 times I paid for a flight. And she said that I owed her the £2,500 that she won on the lottery. And she put that towards the trip. But when we finished, she wanted it back. So she stole it from my account because she said I owed her it. Different, you know, women are from Mars and men are from Venus, something like that. But yeah, we had a good time going around the world. We argued in every single country apart from Fiji, where we got married. And I should have gut feeling, you know, the writing was on the wall, but again, I'm stupid. And I just think it might be me. Never mind. That was the cheapest divorce, because it cost me absolutely nothing to get divorced from her. Hi, Les. I like cauliflower rice. Can cook like fried rice, but chicken, prawns, cashew nuts. Except huge portions, keto friendly, great for staying in shape. Yeah, I got a little bit sick of the cauliflower rice, and but I need to put something more with it. I think I need a sauce with it to make it palatable for me. But I love cauliflower. I'll eat cauliflower raw. Same with broccoli. I like all my vegetables and salads. So that isn't a struggle for me. I like my vegetables and salads, and it's just lovely. So yeah. Oh, 3 hours and 34 minutes. Well, 3 hours and 45 minutes we got the last time. So now it's getting dark, isn't it? We're getting there. So it is now here at 6:31 p.m. So another 10 or 15 minutes it'll be pitch dark. So let's have a look. Anybody got any more questions before I wind the scheme up? Men from Mars, Women from Venus, something like that. I've never read the book, but I know they are a different breed to us guys, and we'll never understand them, and they'll never understand us 100%. So on that note, 3 hours and 35 minutes, I'm going to call it an end because I'm getting bitten by little ants going around. It's getting dark here now, so the mosquitoes will be attracted to I've got 2 lights here, as you can see, if I block the lights. So they'll be starting to come and nibble me because they'll think, oh, that good time to eat a buffet lunch, an English buffet lunch. Mark May, £10 donation. Oh, thank you very much, Mark. Much appreciated. Wow, thank you very much. Okay, everybody, thanks for joining me. Take care. And until the next time, about another couple of weeks, and we'll have another live stream. If anybody wants to know any questions, please send me an email, and I'll do my best to answer the questions. Good night, Les. Just came on the last few minutes with my first beer. Good for you. Our relationships with Patty Bag girls a waste of time, Les? No, absolutely. Okay, I'll answer this question. I'll answer this question, and I'll give you my perspective on this. For the bar girls in Patty get a bad press, and I've got to say they are not all bad. It's like everywhere in the world. You get good and bad amongst everything. Okay, let me give you a scenario. A girl works in the middle of the countryside, in the middle of Isan or something like that. There is no bars, no entertainment zones, just farms and fields, and working hard, working at 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning until 6 or 7 o'clock on the night, nowhere to go. How is this girl going to get to see the man of her dreams? The man on the knight in shining armor is going to go on his horse and is going to rescue her from her lifestyle working in the fields. She's got to go into an area where there's lots of foreigners, and Pattaya is the place of lots of foreigners. If she did internet dating, are you as a guy going to travel on the bus 8 or 10 hours to go and see her in the village, staying in a little resort hotel? Maybe she can't speak good English. There's nowhere to go, no bars, no entertainment, nothing to do but just stare in each other's eyes. So what's the chance of that working? Absolutely next to zero. If the girl was working with the other girls in Pattaya in a bar, she's going to meet every day a different foreigner. Every day she's going to talk to somebody. She's going to learn English off of the other girls. So now she's got a better understanding of English, and she's got a better understanding of foreigners. So she either likes it because she's learning a lesson and she's escaped the countryside life, and she wants to meet a guy who wants to look after her, and she wants to look after a guy that's going to sponsor her or pay for her for the rest of her life to get her out of the situation that she's in. So not all bar girls are there to fleece and rob you and take you for your money. At the end of the day, gut feeling, go with the flow. If she's a nice girl, she's a nice girl. If she's a nice girl in the country, she can be a nice girl in the bar. But if that girl's been in the bar for a year, she's learned some harsh lessons as well. So you've got to be fair with them. don't lie to them. And if they lie to you, walk away, find somebody else. Anyway, that's just my quick. Do not treat all bar girls with the same brush. I have a great time. I've got a great understanding of the bar girls in Pattaya or elsewhere. They don't do it because they want to do it. They're also looking for a nice way for their lives. So anyway, on that one, that'll do. Thanks for the stream, Les. Good time. Thanks, Les. How about 4 boys a day for attempting to make them? Okay, enough. Good night, everybody. Thanks very much for dropping in. And until the next time, bye for now.